the great wave of magical technology. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 476, Killing the Silver Snake. Could this kid be a reincarnated god? Run. Seal the demon. The sword light suspended in front of Yunfan suddenly flashed and instantly penetrated a distance of hundreds of meters. The silver snake also felt that the sword light was extremely terrifying and wanted to turn around to avoid it. However, the sword light only slightly turned an arc during its flight and still pierced into the silver snake's head. The Daoluo sword shot out from behind the silver snake's skull. The silver snake looked at Yunfan in shock. Why? You should be content to die under the Daoluo sword. Yunfan walked over directly, and the silver snake's eyes were completely dim, and the huge snake body fell down directly. The holy level magic beast silver snake that had dominated the small world island of the kingdom of God for 1,000 years was killed. Yunfan looked at the body of the magic beast silver snake that fell, and his heart was a little complicated. It was because of the connivance of this silver snake that the human race suffered serious losses on this small island. That's why Yunfan wanted to kill all the snakes on this snake island later. The body of the holy level magic beast is a good thing, so naturally it can't be let go. Yunfan grabbed the huge body of the silver snake, and with a thought, he directly collected it into the space ring. After killing the silver snake, Yunfan began to look at the nest. Just when Yunfan wanted to leave, he suddenly felt a strange breath coming from the magic circle. This, God's tomb? Yunfan's mind suddenly popped up these words. No, it should be called the inheritance place. No wonder there is a god level magic circle here. The little snake should not have entered this god's tomb. With such a great benefit, it actually broke through to the saint level with the help of the magic circle. It really picked up sesame seeds and lost watermelons. No, he should not have found this god's tomb. In this boundless land, from the era of gods and demons to the present, countless powerful beings have appeared in the endless years, and countless civilizations have been experienced. There are simply countless places of inheritance of gods and demons, etc. There are often people who accidentally enter the ancient ruins of gods and demons, and some of them can get some benefits and rise up. The epic novels on the mainland are written like this, and Yunfan has occasionally read a few of them. To be honest, your luck is really good. It seems that every time you find something good, Sakura couldn't help but speak out. I don't know what kind of gods left this place. If it was left by the Order camp, it would be easier. If it was left by gods like the Destruction clan, it would be troublesome. Many people died in the relics of the inheritance of gods and demons. There are many records in the books that Yunfan has read. I don't know if this heritage relic is dangerous, but I actually know the existence of this heritage place. It's good to go in and take a look. Anyway, I have already comprehended the elementary space law, and there should be no problem dealing with some things. But I still have to be careful. Yunfan has a strong desire to explore the secrets of the continent. He knows that facing some very ancient gods and demons, or the inheritance places left by evil gods and demons, he may not have much resistance as a saint, but fortunately he still has some means. He believes that his world tree deep in the sea can solve most of the problems in this world. The magic circle started to operate without his control. Suddenly, a space vortex appeared in the center of the magic circle. Yunfan didn't even react, let alone break free, and was directly sucked into the space vortex. After Yunfan disappeared, the space vortex also disappeared instantly. The silver snake nest also became as peaceful as ever, as if nothing had ever happened. Yunfan felt as if the entire time and space seemed to be disillusioned, a bit like the feeling that he was brought into the space tunnel by the world tree. He had clearly mastered the laws of space, and according to common sense, this kind of thing should not happen. He wanted to use the laws of time and space that he controlled to see what happened, but he couldn't help but feel a little frustrated that, although the space power here was sufficient, he couldn't grasp the slightest bit of space power. What is going on? Yunfan unfolded his own domain, but his originally omnipotent domain actually lost its effectiveness here. Ji Yunfan tried to communicate with the world tree in his body, and the world tree sent him a message. Don't worry, there is no danger. Ji Yunfan wanted to ask the world tree what was going on, but the world tree did not answer him, so he could only wait here. I don't know how long it took, but in an instant, everything calmed down. Here, Ji Yunfan was directly teleported to a new space. He looked around and saw a tall corridor full of various plants. The corridor was 100 feet wide and 100 feet high. Some well-known plants and unknown plants appeared in front of Ji Yunfan. When Ji Yunfan saw these plants, he was shocked. Even those well-known plants were seen in books about legends. Where is this place? Looking at the hexagram under his feet, Ji Yunfan couldn't help but take a long breath. Ji Yunfan looked at the various plants not far away through the invisible barrier. Is it an island? Ji Yunfan shook his head involuntarily. The size of the island is limited. It is very difficult to accommodate such a large building. I'm afraid that the Silver Snake has discovered it long ago. It gave me a feeling of switching time and space before, like a high-level space channel. Ji Yunfan thought secretly. I'm afraid I have entered another small world. You are really lucky. You actually came to the kingdom of a plant-based fallen god. You mean this is the kingdom of a plant-based fallen god? It is recorded in books that over the endless years, some very powerful gods, even if they have fallen, their kingdoms will still exist for many years, and the remains of gods and demons will also be in some small spaces and small worlds. It is usually impossible to find opportunities, but I accidentally came here twice. From one kingdom to another. I'm afraid that this plant-based fallen god is at least at the level of a high god. Plant-based gods generally belong to the order type, and they practice the laws of nature. No wonder the world tree does not worry me. Since it is the place where the plant-based gods have fallen, this world tree can definitely play an unexpected role. Just as Sakadin said, plant-based gods generally love and cherish life. Unlike gods from other series, the inheritance they set up has to go through many tests, which results in most of them dying. Those who can escape with their lives are considered lucky. Chapter 477. Moving forward. Unknown represents opportunity. The inheritance of gods is even more so. However, as gods of the Order camp, they are all relatively kind. Of course, this is also relative. Where there are people, there will be disputes, and there will be good and bad. No matter which kind of power attribute the gods cultivate, there will be good and bad. Ji Yunfan wanted to collect some materials for his alchemy, but what made him a little helpless was that these plants in front of him seemed to have special protective membranes, and even his domain could not pass through these protective membranes. Boy, this is a restriction set by the gods. Although your domain power is very special and can assimilate all domain powers, it also refers to the power of the same level. The power of the gods is not something you can peek at now, Sakadin said. This means that you can only look but not take. Ji Yunfan pouted and said helplessly. At this time, Ji Yunfan suddenly felt that the world tree in his mind jumped, and then a strange green light came out from the ship around the world tree and surrounded Ji Yunfan. Ji Yunfan was stunned for a moment, then reacted. With the help of the green light, he gently touched the protective membranes and penetrated them directly. Haha. It's worthy of being the world tree. After walking for a while, is this the green dragon vine? What is needed to treat the ancestors of the human race? As soon as he turned a corner, Ji Yunfan's pupils shrank, and he saw a long vine like a green dragon on the ground in the distance. However, not far from the Great Wall, there were white bones and corpses. Some of the corpses were almost completely rotten and turned into ashes. However, the strange thing was that there were very few weapons on the ground. Only the most complete corpse on the left in the distance had a space ring. Where are the space rings of the other corpses? Ji Yunfan wondered. Even if there are no space rings, there are at least some weapons. Why don't they have any? Ji Yunfan's mind moved, and he shifted his position and came to the last space ring. However, just when he was about to take the space ring was instantly shaken and shattered. It seems that he has been dead for a long time. Ji Yunfan glanced at the powder left by the space ring. Now it seems that other things should be even older. How many years has it been since other people came here? 10 years, 100 years or 1,000 years? Ji Yunfan naturally doesn't know about these things, and there is no great significance in delving into them. Forget it, let's put away this Kinglang vine first, and then go and see if there are any other relics. No one has too many good things, and Ji Yunfan is no exception. Collecting things and moving forward. Collecting things and moving forward. Ji Yunfan walked step by step into the interior of this inheritance land. So many things Ji Yunfan was shocked. In the space ring in Ji Yunfan's hand, there were actually magic weapons suspended one by one, each with an extraordinary aura. The highest grade was only up to the 9th level. In that case, the original owner of this space ring was also a 9th level saint and a strong man. Why does one person need to carry so many magic armor and space rings? Ji Yunfan looked at the large number of corpses in the distance. There were weapons and space rings next to those corpses. Then he figured out the key. I'm afraid most of the things are not because they are decayed, but because the owner of the corpses in front of him has collected all the weapons of his predecessors. He checked the space ring inside. There are more than 200 pieces of magic armor stored in it. There are also several weapons and other things, and other strange treasures similar to magic arrays. There should have been some magic scrolls and the like, but it's a pity that it should be too long, and the magic power in the magic scrolls has dissipated. Only 4 or 5 magic scrolls can still be used, but the power of Liao Qiang has been greatly discounted. It's okay for a search, but forget it if you use it against the enemy. It seems that I'm not the only one who saw this place. Ji Yunfan muttered, these people should not be residents of the native kingdom of God, but how did these people die here? Ji Yunfan chose a space ring with the largest usable area, put all the unnecessary things in it, and then found some good magic armors and equipped himself. The magic defenses here, although not too exquisite, are much stronger than the magic armors he originally had. In fact, Ji Yunfan was not too surprised to get these magic defenses, because many things can be made, as long as he has the materials. But for the current continent, there are too many people and the materials are not complete, and it is difficult for a clever wife to cook without rice. But the quantity is quite a lot. These useless things can be decomposed into materials to make my skeleton warriors go further. Ji Yunfan then stopped thinking about it. The guy in front also got so many space rings and magic armor, but he still died here in the end. The most important thing is to survive and pass it on. Ji Yunfan couldn't help but take out the Daoluo sword. He was seen holding the magic gun in one hand and the Daoluo sword in the other hand, moving forward carefully. Although he guessed at the beginning that this god should be a plant-based spirit belonging to the order camp and should not do anything cruel. But guesses are just guesses after all, and only by being careful can you avoid losses. Ji Yunfan moved forward step by step, very carefully. As he saw more and more corpses, his brows couldn't help but frown deeper. If this battlefield of gods and demons has only appeared once, then where did the corpses here come from? His heart was full of all kinds of puzzles. At this moment, suddenly not far from him, a green light bloomed, and then some tall vegetation stood up all of a sudden. Tree people! Exclamation mark. Ji Yunfan frowned slightly. These things should not be called tree people, because tree people should have their own perception and thoughts. These guys are just puppets. Ji Yunfan also sensed that the breath of these puppet tree people was not weak, and almost every one of them was not much different from his strength, and should have reached the saint level. There are more than 10. Dare to trespass into the god's domain. Damn mortal. You will be killed by us. These puppet tree people shouted in unison, and then they waved the vine branches and whipped them. Oh my god. Isn't it said that the gods of the order camp are all kind? Exclamation mark. You kid must have read too many novels, and you dare to believe this kind of nonsense. Sakuden said contemptuously. Ji Yunfan held the Daoluo sword, and at this moment he didn't understand that the corpses before were probably killed by the puppet tree people. Ji Yunfan didn't dare to hesitate, and immediately displayed his agile body skills. With a whoosh, he stepped diagonally, and passed by the tree people in an instant. Chapter 478 Fighting Puppet. Battle formation, start. The puppet treemen shouted in unison. Damn, these puppets actually know how to set up a battle formation. Immediately, the auras of these puppet treemen united together, and Ji Yunfan rushed directly towards these treemen. The Daolo divine sword stabbed out, but failed to succeed, and was even pushed back several steps by the power of these treemen. Faced with this situation, Yunfan could not help but unfold his domain again. What made Yunfan a little helpless was that, although the power of his domain had spread, he could not control the overall situation as before. It's still because my own strength is too weak. Otherwise, this situation would not have occurred. Yunfan couldn't help but sigh. Forget it. Regardless of these, finding a way to escape from these people is the serious matter. Since the domain power was useless, Yunfan had no sense of security. Since you are here, don't even think about escaping. The puppet treeman said in unison. I didn't expect these puppets to know how to change formations. This is really a bit difficult to deal with. Yunfan looked at the puppet treeman who was surrounding him again, and muttered to himself, it seems that I can't get out unless I kill this puppet treeman. All those guys died before, but I'm not one of them. Changing positions, Yunfan used the yin yang bagua steps that he had learned to bypass these puppet treemen, and then he directly killed one of them. Demon sealing sword technique evil scar. Yunfan pierced through the head of one of the puppet treemen with a sword. The puppet treeman seemed to be unaffected and still attacked Yunfan like the other puppet treemen. What the hell is going on? Are these puppets and treemen immortal? Yunfan was shocked by the sudden change and couldn't help but jump back a few steps. Even if it's a god, the sword piercing his head will almost certainly kill him, right? What's up with these puppet treemen? How can they not die? Yunfan couldn't help but feel anxious. He found out in the brief fight just now that the strength of each puppet treeman was not much worse than his own. Yunfan, since it's a puppet, it should have a puppet source. Only by finding his puppet source and destroying his puppet source can we destroy this puppet treeman. Sakadin said. Kill. Yunfan's attack just now seemed to have angered all the puppet treemen. They all roared and surrounded him frantically. Yunfan once again controlled his body and wandered among the puppet treemen. These puppet treemen coordinated with each other and changed their directions and angles at all times. The biggest feature of war is to fight with more people against fewer people. It seems that, no matter which angle you stand at, you are facing multiple enemies at the same time. To be honest, Yunfan hasn't encountered such a difficult thing for a long time. He feels that every step he takes is calculated by the opponent. This feeling makes Yunfan a little anxious. It seems that, because of the laws of the entire kingdom of God, Yunfan felt that his fighting spirit was recovering slowly, and he could not afford to fight a protracted war. What should I do now? Find their weaknesses carefully. As long as you find their weaknesses, everything can be solved. Boss, you used to be a god, and your vision should be much higher than mine. Then tell me where their weaknesses are? Yunfan could no longer care about many things and asked directly. Although I was also a god, I have fallen a long time ago, and many of my methods cannot be used at all, so you can only rely on yourself to find his weaknesses. Sakadin said. To be honest, he was originally just a middle-level god. Even if he had not fallen, it would not be easy to find the opponent's weaknesses. Water, fire, yin and yang Bagua array, start. The Bagua diagram composed of the two forces of water and fire under Yunfan's feet was displayed again. The yin and yang fish slowly rotated in opposite directions and immediately surrounded these puppet tree people inside. Everyone thinks that water and fire are ruthless, which is true. The energy of the fire system is one of the element with high attack power in nature. The water system is completely opposite to it. When the two forces are intertwined, a qualitative change will occur. No matter how you say the plant system, it belongs to the wood system in the 5 element. In this case, according to the theory of the 5 element on the earth, the power of the fire system should restrain the power of the wood system. Even after becoming a puppet, their essence will not change. Yunfan muttered to himself. The two forces of water and fire intertwined, and the puppet tree man first burned, and then under the extreme restraining power of the water system, mixed with violent breaths, those puppet tree men were directly reduced to ashes. Looking at the dust left by the tree man puppet that had been reduced to ashes, Yunfan breathed a sigh of relief, but before he could react, the dust actually condensed again. How can this be? Yunfan couldn't help but be incredulous. It had already turned into dust, but it could still be recondensed. What kind of monster was it? It was mixed with the two powers of water and fire that he had just used, like a lava giant. What on earth is this thing? It can actually use the two powers of water and fire at the same time to reconstruct its body. It is simply immortal. Yunfan obviously didn't know how to deal with this newly formed lava giant-like monster for a while. This thing has the two powers he used. If he uses the water and fire yin-yang Teikai diagram, it might not have any effect. Die. It seems that, because it was destroyed at the beginning, the reconstructed monster became extremely angry. This monster turned into the image of the angry King Kong in the myth, with 3 pairs of arms. 2 of the pairs of arms each grabbed a spear composed of the 2 element of water and fire, carrying endless power, and stabbing towards Yunfan. The pair of arms that did not make a move also each had a water and fire spear, ready to attack suddenly at any time. There must be a flaw. MMP. Whoever tells me that the gods of the Order camp are all kind, I will be angry with him. Since this is a place of inheritance, or an ancient relic, there must be a glimmer of hope. If it is really immortal, it will consume me to death. Yunfan rushed forward with the Daoluo sword in his hand. He collided with those water and fire spears, and the powerful force made Yunfan take several steps back. It seems to be stronger than at the beginning. Could it be that it can borrow my power for its own use? Yunfan's face became extremely ugly. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 479, Surrendered Puppet. This is really a very troublesome thing. Seeing that the monster attacked him again, Yunfan had no choice but to retreat. Could it be? Yunfan frowned. Water, fire, yin and yang Teikai diagram. Yunfan's mind moved. I saw the water and fire Teikai diagram appear again under his feet. Just as the Teikai diagram was crushing towards the monster showed a horrified expression, as if it imagined that its body was crushed and cracked. They have their own thoughts, which are somewhat similar to the skeleton warriors I refined. Could it be that they have souls? Yunfan was shocked by his own thoughts. Today I want to see what the core of this puppet is. Since it has a soul, then, Yunfan thought, while spreading his mental power and completely covering the surface of the monster. Yunfan felt a strange suction coming from the monster, and that suction seemed to devour his mental power. No wonder you can keep fighting. This is what an immortal body looks like. The core is in. Yunfan paused before he finished speaking. This core can actually change its position all the time. It's really weird. Even if you can change your position, what can you do? Under my mental power, you have nowhere to hide. The puppet monster that had recondensed was angry. It roared and avoided Yunfan's attacks one by one, and rushed directly towards Yunfan. Yunfan held the Daoluo sword in his hand, but he was like a flexible monkey. His body was like a residual shadow, and he instantly slashed at the puppet's vital point. However, the vital point changed at any time, so Yunfan did not have much effect. The Daoluo sword just passed by. Sure enough, it's true, just as I guessed. Yunfan couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief and laughed heartily. Sure enough, as long as I find your vital points, you won't be so scary. Every time I cut your vital points, you will be hurt. This is real damage. Your strength will decrease. Haha, I wonder how long you can hold on. When attacking before, Yunfan found that, although this monster had mastered the new attribute power, its strength was reduced. Although the reduction was not much, Yunfan's perception was so sharp that he still discovered this. If he hadn't found this vital point, he would need to completely destroy this puppet monster again and again. If it was that kind of consumption, he simply couldn't afford it. After finding the vital point, it was different. He could concentrate all his strength to attack this vital point. If he was lucky enough to completely destroy this vital point, I'm afraid this puppet monster would disappear directly. Yunfan used his water, fire, yin and yang Teikai diagram to completely destroy the monster several times before he finally found the vital point from the monster. This time he only attacked the vital point and found that the puppet monster's strength suddenly dropped. After being attacked several times, the puppet monster was terrified. He didn't know how Yunfan did it. Yunfan actually hit his vital point every time he attacked later. Yunfan originally thought that this was a protracted battle, but what he didn't expect was that the puppet monster actually admitted defeat. "Do you mean surrender?" Yunfan blinked and asked the puppet monster with a bit of a smile. The puppet monster nodded quickly. "Oh my god, even the puppets have become spirits now." The puppet monster made a look of invitation, as if asking Yunfan to continue moving forward. "It's really interesting." Yunfan continued to move forward, but he did not dare to let down his guard. He walked carefully to the corner of the mysterious passage. Instead of moving forward, he looked inside and saw that there were still many corpses in the distance. There are still so many corpses. It seems that the road ahead is still not peaceful. I don't know how many dangers there are in this ghost place. Yunfan couldn't help but mutter to himself, and those who can die there are probably those who have passed through that soft bone puppet monster. Yunfan looked at the accidents in the passage and found that many of the accidents here were relatively intact, and the space and rings on their bodies were left on them. Those who can come here are probably the best of the saint rank. There should be a lot more good things than at the beginning. Yunfan carefully checked the corpses. Many of the corpses here are very different from ordinary humans. They look like aliens. Aliens are indeed much stronger than orthodox humans. He found a lot of magic scrolls of the 8th and 9th ranks in the space ring, magic armor and other things, but he found that, because too much time has passed, the magic power contained in these things is very little. If you want to use them normally, you must need a high-level magician to inject some magic power into these things again. The highest grade is the 9th rank, although the quality is much better than those just now. Yunfan shook his head, but these things are no longer of much use to me. If other people heard this, they would definitely say that Yunfan was extremely greedy. It would be great if there was a divine weapon here. He really thought that divine weapons were all the stuff on the road. Many demigod level strongmen only used holy weapons after a lifetime. It is said that people get angry when compared to others, and things get thrown away when compared to others. Stop and rest for a while. I don't know what kind of danger I will encounter in a while. Yunfan found a relatively clean place to sit down, took out some food from the space ring, and ate it slowly. Yunfan sat there eating and drinking, not in a hurry to move forward. Who knows what he will encounter here, so that he can better ensure his safety by reaching his own state. A lot of fighting spirit was consumed in the previous fight with the puppet monster, and Yunfan took this opportunity to recover a little. While drinking, Yunfan took out a piece of space ring and looked through it. Occasionally, he would find some special books. He was quite concerned about these books. He always believed that knowledge changed his destiny. He wanted to see if there was any introduction about this place from these books. But what made him a little helpless was, is there any introduction about this place? In fact, for many selfish people, they will destroy some powerful books or things that can be used after they get them to prevent them from being spread. So most of the various books they carry are very ordinary, and they are not precious secrets. Chapter 480 Epoch. Like what appeared in those novels, such as killing people and setting fires, getting a golden belt, and getting some martial arts secrets are all unreliable. Anyway, Yunfan has been on the mainland for so long, and he hasn't seen many secrets. Research on the world plane. This thing is quite interesting. It's an unexpected gain. Yunfan smiled. To be honest, after this teleportation, he is more interested in the plane space. The reason why many people like to hunt for treasures is that they feel happy when they get treasures. Although the things obtained here are not good things, all kinds of strange items are taken out one by one. This process of searching for treasures also makes Yunfan feel much better. Yunfan suddenly turned over a piece of strange craft paper. When he was about to put it away for a search, Yunfan's mind suddenly heard Sakadan's voice. Wait, did you find something? Sakadan's face changed immediately after seeing the special symbols on it. Impossible. This is impossible. How could it be like this? What's the matter? Can you please explain it clearly? Yunfan. Sakuden said very solemnly, many years ago, there was a legend circulating in the continent of gods, that every 100 million years, a major change would occur. The age of gods and demons has existed for more than 90 million years, so even the strong men at the level of the main gods in this world, can only live for 100 million years at most. But there was once a legendary figure who broke this taboo. That person was called the Lord of the Green Plant World. The text on it should be from the last era. Looking at the plain looking craft paper in his hand, Yunfan held his breath. Could this thing have been passed down for an era, 100 million years? If so, it would be incredible. Sakuden, can you parse out what is described on it? Only the great demon god who specializes in studying the era can understand this thing. I'm a small middle level god who can recognize it. How can I know what is written on it? Maybe it says something great, so you must keep this thing well. When we go to the gods continent, it may have unexpected uses. Forget it, since we don't know what it is. It doesn't take up space anyway, so just leave it here. I will study it when I have time. Brother, you were a famous linguist in your previous life. Who knows what you can find? Just walking and stopping on this plate, even the sense of time is dull. There is no way. There is no sun in this passage, so it is impossible to determine the time. Yunfan, whose fighting spirit and mental strength are fully restored, stood up again. Looking at this strange passage, he couldn't help but grit his teeth. He understood that there is no way to retreat now. If he wants to live, he has to move forward. Let's take it one step at a time. Anyway, I can't stay here forever. Otherwise, when my stored materials are exhausted, I might starve to death here. Yunfan stared at the passage in the distance and walked over again. Yunfan held the Daoluo sword in his hand and walked directly in the center of this strange passage. What the hell is this place? There is no sun or moon in this strange passage, and time passes blurrily. There is not much food stored in the space ring, and the stock was eaten up in more than a month. Sure enough, I hit it with my casual words. Even the things collected in this strange passage have been eaten by me. If I die, I'm afraid I will go to the underworld. No, this is a fucking alien world. I came to the world of magic. If I die, I should report to the underworld. No, I have been on the road for so long, but I have never heard of the existence of the underworld. Yunfan had a vague feeling, which was the intuition of the dark after the mental power became strong. He had an extremely terrifying feeling, as if he was about to face an extremely terrible disaster. Sakuden, do people report to the underworld after they die? Yunfan asked. The underworld, what is that place? Sakuden looked a little confused, but soon frowned again. Why does the underworld sound so familiar? Have I seen it somewhere? How can people exist again after they die? Except for those with grudges, who will become undead. Wait, that's not right. I remember. Legend has it that there was an underworld in the last era, and all dead creatures had to report to the underworld. There is a god in the underworld, Hades, who will judge. But that's just a legend. I don't know how many years I've waited, and finally someone has come here. Let me see if it's one of my people. A hoarse voice sounded, speaking an extremely strange language, which was somewhat similar to the divine text that Sakuden told him, but not exactly the same. Yunfan looked over immediately. A figure walked out of the green mist in the distance. He had a hunched body, green eyes, and a green body. His appearance was somewhat similar to that of the elves, but not exactly the same. He seemed to walk slowly, but each step was several meters away. Unfortunately, you are not one of my people. In an instant, he arrived in front of Yunfan, and the green palm, that looked like a cat-tail leaf fan with a strong life directly slapped Yunfan. This simple attack gave Yunfan a feeling that he could not dodge, as if the other party had predicted everything about him. Yunfan had no choice but to use the Daoluo sword to resist. Bang! Yunfan was instantly smashed away, and his hands became extremely numb in an instant. Fuck. Fuck. What the hell is this monster? How can it be so strong? Yunfan wanted to grab the Daoluo sword in his hand, but now his hands had lost consciousness, and his body hit the wall of the passage in the distance like a meteorite, making a crisp sound. Yunfan fell to the ground of the passage, and there was no sound around him. It was terribly quiet. Green Emperor Daoki. It was the first time that Ji Yunfan heard someone know the technique he was practicing and read out the name of the technique. But you are too weak. The green weirdo murmured to himself. Little guy, tell me what period it is now? The green weirdo did not seem to intend to attack Ji Yunfan. Ji Yunfan knew that he was definitely not a match for the green weirdo in front of him, so he quickly told his origins. I have never heard of this empire you are talking about. Then let me ask you this, what year is it in the ancestral god calendar now? Chapter 481, Great Tribulation of the Epoch. I have never heard of the ancestral god calendar, Ji Yunfan said. Since you have never heard of the ancestral god calendar, it seems that the plane you live in is very weak. Ancestral god calendar. Ancestral god calendar. Why does it feel familiar? Oh, it should be the calendar before the era. Sakuden suddenly said. What? Ji Yunfan's face changed slightly. If it is really the calendar before the era, how long should this green monster in front of him live? Could it be that it has been alive since before the era? Ji Yunfan hurriedly told the information he got from Sakuden. The green monster was heard mumbling to himself. I didn't expect that an era has passed. So, the master and his people are no longer in this world. I don't know what happened in that era. The green monster stood there quietly, looking at Ji Yunfan with his green eyes, and sighed hoarsely. His sigh contained a kind of helplessness and disappointment. I didn't expect that I have been waiting here for so long that I have forgotten the time. But I didn't expect that I would get this news. Little guy, tell me, how come you have the King Di Dao key? You know, that is the technique that my master once practiced. This. Ji Yunfan didn't know how to answer for a while, but when he saw the other party's gloomy expression, he quickly used his mental power to communicate with the world tree in the sea of consciousness. The world tree trembled and flew out of Ji Yunfan's sea of consciousness. After seeing the world tree again, the green weirdo became very excited. It's the young master. I didn't expect the young master to have grown so big. However, the weirdo's face suddenly became very ugly again, staring at Ji Yunfan fiercely and said, you bastard boy actually dared to sign a master-servant contract with my young master. I will kill you. The green weirdo attacked again, and the powerful attack almost smashed Ji Yunfan to pieces, and at the same time, his whole body had no feeling at all. The King Di Dao key in Ji Yunfan's body started to operate quickly, and the powerful vitality contained in the godlike body played a role, and the divine power quickly recovered. It hurts. It hurts. What the hell is this monster? Ji Yunfan even looked into the distance. The feeling of being completely unconscious just now was really terrifying, just like walking in hell. It's really scary. Ji Yunfan looked at the hunched monster in the distance that exuded a strong breath of life. I couldn't even see when he slapped me. His strength is far greater than any enemy I have ever encountered. If you hadn't signed a master-servant contract with my young master, you would have been left with only a corpse. No, you wouldn't even have a corpse left. You would have turned into a speck of dust in this world. The green monster said viciously. Ji Yunfan climbed up with difficulty, and the ground was covered with blood. At the same time, he communicated with Sakuden in his body. How strong is this green monster? A higher god, or even more than a higher god. He is stronger than all the higher gods I have ever seen. It's over. It's over. It's really over this time. Sakuden said in horror. Just when the green monster wanted to attack Ji Yunfan again, the world tree directly blocked it. The green monster quickly stopped attacking and said to the world tree in a friendly manner, young master, don't worry, I will definitely resolve the master-servant contract on you. What? You said you want to protect the human in front of you. You said he saved you. If it weren't for him, you would die forever. It's not that he deceived you. But if the master knew that you signed a master-servant contract with a human. Ji Yunfan still stared at the hunched green monster with a vigilant face. To be honest, he was really afraid that the monster would suddenly attack him again. Okay, I know. If he doesn't treat you well, I will still kill him. The green monster glared at Ji Yunfan fiercely and said. Hearing that the other party seemed to have given up the decision to kill him, Ji Yunfan couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. The monster in front of him was beyond his imagination. If the other party really wanted to kill him, he wouldn't even have the chance to resist, which made Ji Yunfan feel very insecure. Since you have cultivated my master's King Didauki, you are also his descendant. Come with me." The green monster was helpless against Yunfan because of the obstruction of the world tree, so he decided to try to accept Yunfan. The world tree also returned to Yunfan's sea of consciousness again. The green monster turned around, and a strange passage suddenly formed in front of him. Then he slowly walked towards the direction of the passage. Yunfan also hurriedly followed the monster towards the passage. At the same time, he had a very strong feeling that, if he didn't meet this green monster, he might not be able to get out at all. Yunfan's guess was right. There was a formation set up by an ancient god. The formation could allow him to loop in the passage infinitely. No matter how long he walked, he would not walk out of the passage, unless he could rely on his powerful strength to break the rules set. However, to break this rule, he must be stronger than the god who set up the passage. Yunfan looked at the exit of the passage not far away. There was a mysterious platform outside the exit. After passing through the passage, Yunfan felt as if he had come to a brand new world, where everything was full of vitality and unknown. Are we there? Yunfan quickly followed the green monster out of the exit, and couldn't help but take a breath of cold air. This was an extremely vast world, probably thousands of feet high. Compared to such a large hall, the strange corridor seemed insignificant. Sky City. This was Yunfan's first impression of the hall, because the entire hall stood above the clouds, but the entire hall was dilapidated, as if it had experienced endless years of destruction. I didn't expect that everything had changed when I returned here, the green monster said leisurely. What exactly is this place? Yunfan asked. This world used to be the master's kingdom of God. It was called the Garden Realm by the gods at that time. It was one of the 8 worlds at that time. The green monster said faintly. Could it be that your master was once the god of creation? Yunfan couldn't help but exclaimed. Chapter 480 To the creator is just the beginning. What is the god of creation? The green monster asked with a frown. Yunfan hurriedly told everything he knew about the god of creation. The green monster looked at Yunfan with contempt and said, recreating a world with laws is considered a god of creation? Even I, back then, had already reached that level. My people are countless times more powerful than the god of creation you mentioned. It's no good for you to know this now. You just need to remember that your so-called god of creation is just the beginning. The enemies you will face in the future will be hundreds or even thousands of times more powerful than the so-called god of creation. Yunfan was stunned when he heard it. What the green monster said was beyond his imagination. These things are too far away for you. You don't need to understand them at all. The green monster said slowly. By the way, summon the young master. Since the young master has appeared, the old master's world should be inherited by him. During this period of time, Yunfan had been controlled in that mysterious world, and naturally did not know the changes outside. Many alien armies have already arrived at the laser lake plain, and even some temples on the ground have sent people. The man and woman on the back of the window beast took a look, and soon one of the men pointed to a direction and said, there are people sent by our temple over there. Window beast, go over there. The window beast quickly flew in that direction, and the 2 temple guards who were originally monitoring on the shore looked at the man and woman on the window beast in the distance in amazement. Greetings, priest. The 2 temple guards knelt on one knee in fear, and they all recognized the people. I ask you, how is the progress of the world crystal? The man asked directly. There is no progress in the world crystal, but there are more and more people from other temples. Now all the human race and alien races in the laser lake plain are quite restrained from each other. The 2 went to several other temple guards to ask, and even found the temple guards who were waiting at the temple base. They also understood what happened, and understood the special situation now. The situation is getting more and more complicated. If we want to complete the mission given to us by God, we may face many dangers. The 2 of them stood on a relatively flat place, and looked at the lake, their brows furrowed. 3 gods envoys, what do you think? The man looked at the woman and said. The woman pondered. There is not even a little movement, so it should not have appeared in the world yet, but that thing may be in an extremely ancient miracle. Those miracles may be hidden in a void. We are blocked by a layer of void, so we can't see it, and we can't sense it. And just as you said, all the major temples have sent out messengers. The final fight for the world crystal may very well be a fight between us messengers in the end. Everyone who can become a messenger has extraordinary abilities. Maybe the world crystal Cisco is sealed by something. But no matter what, we must find the world crystal for God. Only in this way can my God come to the world. But all this is not something we can figure out. The woman shook her head. All we can do is wait. Wait for the world crystal to appear. Well, wait. The man also looked at this plane that had existed for who knows how long. His expression full of fanaticism. I believe that the world crystal will eventually fall into our hands. The woman also nodded and stopped talking. They are all waiting now. I don't know how many of them are strong and waiting for this opportunity to soar into the sky. Damn it, why are those people from the human race so indifferent? Those people are all from the temple. In their eyes, we who have no faith are pagans. It's good enough that they didn't kill us directly. Just when Yunfan left the garden, a seal on the laser lake plane loosened directly, followed by thunder and lightning, as if it was the end of the world. Many things turned to ashes in the strange vision, and a strong breath of destruction came. I didn't see it wrong. After seeing this scene, many aliens stuttered on the spot. Both the human race and the alien race were almost petrified, stunned like clay sculptures and wooden sculptures, and couldn't believe their eyes. Why do I feel like the world is about to be destroyed? Many masters stuttered and felt dry in their mouths. It's not like it seems. It's exactly like it. What kind of power is that? Why do I feel it's more terrifying than the breath of God? It's incredible. Is there anything more powerful than the power of God in this world? Some of the gods couldn't help but be a little surprised when they said this. Yunfan happened to see all this, and his face became extremely ugly. Such a powerful breath of destruction should be released by a very powerful destruction clan. If the people of this destruction clan get the essence of the world, the whole world will probably be destroyed. At the same time, the remaining destruction clans on the continent became very excited. Just as Yunfan was muttering to himself, there was a sound of fighting from a distance. Yunfan looked in that direction involuntarily. Not far away, there were 7 or 8 alien monsters chasing people of the human race. These aliens were about 10 feet tall, with double sharp horns on their foreheads, ugly faces, and a pair of fangs. They were wearing armor, and their eyes were full of cruelty and excitement. It's been a long time since I've eaten human flesh and blood. I didn't expect to meet so many human races today. Such delicate and tender human races must be very delicious. The ugly alien giants started to talk to each other, and Yunfan could barely understand them. Hearing these words, his face was very ugly. These alien races actually ate people, and he actually felt the breath of the destruction clan on these alien races. Human race guys, just die obediently. Become our food. Several ugly giants shouted, and the armor they were wearing suddenly emitted an ominous breath, full of the meaning of destruction, and the stench quickly entangled with each other and spread to the surroundings. Yunfan took a deep breath. How many guys from the destruction clan have come here? And the weapons on their bodies have also been tempered, MMP, and there are actually a lot of magic circles engraved on them. Yunfan said, and these alien races in front of us have been corroded by the breath of destruction. They control the power of destruction, no less than a saint level strongman. Chapter 483 Incident. This is trouble. Yunfan held his breath, but he couldn't just watch these humans being devoured by these alien races of destruction. What should I do now? If I just do it, I'm afraid I'll be in trouble before I can save these humans. Kill. Several ugly giants grabbed maces with both hands and roared as they chased after the humans. A large amount of destruction was still condensed around them. No, it looks like we have to take action, otherwise these people will be killed. Yunfan quickly attacked the ugly giants like an arrow from a bow. Die. One of the ugly giants waved his weapon high with both hands. Behead. Yunfan also fully exploded with power, and the power of gods and demons was completely infused into the Daolo sword in his hand. He had a direct head-on collision. He wanted to find out how strong these ugly destroyers were. The ugly alien from the destruction clan held a weapon and smashed it directly on Yunfan's Daolo sword. Then the ugly alien from the destruction clan flew backwards with a whoosh, and even Yunfan took a step back. The alien from the Destruction Clan, Jilibasso, screamed in his own language, "This human is so strong. He didn't hide when he saw us and dared to meddle in our affairs. It's just right to have another strong human. We can have a good meal." At this time, the Destruction Clan transformed from the aliens had already surrounded him. Although Yunfan only fought with one of their monsters, he had some understanding of their strength. Although he had a great advantage on the surface, he still felt a little numb. It was already like this just facing one person. If the other aliens joined forces to besiege him, he would definitely suffer. We can't fight them head on. It seems that we can only outwit them. Yunfan took a step and consumed some of his fighting spirit. Under the operation of the King Emperor's fighting spirit, he quickly recovered. He stepped on the air like a big rock and rushed out directly, flying in the air. "Thank you for saving the senior of the human race." The rescued human race hurriedly thanked him. "You should leave here quickly." Yunfan nodded slightly and said to the others, "But, don't say buts. These monsters are powerful. Even I can hardly defeat them. You staying here will not be of any use at all." "Yes, senior." The rescued human race hesitated for a moment, then turned and left, because they knew that what Yunfan said was true. They were just a burden if they stayed. It would be better to leave early and let Yunfan do it. "Don't run away." What's the point of running away? Can the human race only run away? Seeing that Yunfan actually let go of these foods, the alien races that transformed into the Destruction Clan roared loudly one by one. They also found that these humans were very fast. Yunfan took a step forward to block these aliens who had transformed into the Destruction Clan and pointed from a distance. Water, fire, yin and yang Teikai diagram. A strange yin and yang diagram appeared out of thin air and completely enveloped these aliens who had transformed into the Destruction Clan. The two forces of water and fire were slowly rotating in opposite directions, forming a terrible crushing and strangling force. "Damn bastard human race, what do you want? You let our food run away." Several ugly giants of the alien race who had transformed into the Destruction Clan stopped chasing the invisible and escaping human race, but stared at Yunfan fiercely. Several ugly giants of the alien race who had transformed into the Destruction Clan stopped and were still talking to each other, but his own skills did not cause much damage to them. Yunfan waved his hand and called back the Teikai diagram to surround him. Sure enough, the attack power is still a little lacking. Yunfan sighed slightly. From the ancient myths and legends on Earth, it can be seen that the Teikai diagram focuses on defense. The aliens who transformed into the Destruction Clan came with weapons, one by one fierce and ferocious. Because of the protection of the Teikai diagram, the aliens who transformed into the Destruction Clan rushed in and were affected by the rotation of the Teikai diagram, and their bodies were immediately affected and unable to attack. Yunfan held the Daoluo sword and stared at one of them. Demon Sealing Sword Technique. Dao Ki came in all directions, and the seventh style of the Demon Sealing Sword Technique, Reincarnation Slashing Gods, was performed at an astonishing speed. Blades made of Dao Ki flew towards the alien who had transformed into the Destruction Clan. The ugly alien giant who had transformed into the Destruction Clan also howled angrily and waved his weapon. The mace was extremely heavy, but the material used was much worse than the Daoluo sword. With just a touch, the mace in the hands of the alien who had transformed into the Destruction Clan was directly cut into two pieces. Yunfan naturally could not be merciful, and the Daoluo sword pierced directly at the opponent's neck nail. The alien who had transformed into the Destruction Clan had a sudden change of color. He wanted to stop him, but he was powerless. Dead. The remaining aliens who had transformed into the Destruction Clan looked at Yunfan in disbelief. The death of their companions did not bring them any feelings. After transforming into the Destruction Clan, they had become selfish monsters. Yunfan turned around again, and the Daoluo sword in his hand, slashed at another alien who had transformed into the Destruction Clan next to him. Yunfan has already recognized the weaknesses of these monsters. The aliens who transformed into the Destruction Clan were wearing strange armor, which only protected most of their bodies, but their heads and other parts were still exposed. Yunfan slashed at another alien who transformed into the Destruction Clan with a sword. Because one of their companions had died, they had already been on guard against Yunfan. When the sword was stabbed out, the slave's destructive power appeared on the neck of the alien who transformed into the Destruction Clan, barely stopping Ji Yunfan's attack. However, this sword should not be underestimated. It actually broke through the obstruction of the destructive power, and also left a scar on the neck of the alien who transformed into the Destruction Clan. The alien who transformed into the Destruction Clan immediately recovered. Perfect world coverage. Ji Yunfan thought about it, and fully displayed his trump card, the domain. We can't go on like this. Let's set up a battle formation. Those aliens who transformed into the Destruction Clan said evilly. In just a moment, these alien races transformed into the Destruction Clan formed a strange battle formation, which looked like a 5-pointed star when viewed from above. Chapter 484 Being Hunted. I must kill you quickly, otherwise it will be more and more disadvantageous to me if I continue like this. Ji Yunfan tried his best to inject Dao Qi into the Daoluo sword. Because of the battle formation, these alien races can connect their powers with each other, and Ji Yunfan can't do anything to them for a while. The fight lasted for a full half an hour. Because he was always controlling the perfect domain and fighting hard, Ji Yunfan's mental power was consumed very quickly. Their strength has dropped very little. They are now united together. It is very difficult for me to kill one of them alone. Damn, why is the strength of this Destruction Clan so strong? Ji Yunfan realized that the Dao Qi in his body was less than half of what it was at the beginning. He didn't dare to fight hard anymore and quickly dodged out of the encirclement. Forget it, those human races have already fled, so I won't fight them to death. Ji Yunfan looked around and found that the human races that he had just come down had already disappeared. Ji Yunfan immediately used the strange steps that he had learned and rushed here and there again and again, avoiding the pursuit of this group of alien races. See you later, brothers. Human race, don't run away. You can't escape. Didn't you say the same thing just now? Didn't you let my people escape? Ji Yunfan responded to the alien races while running away. Human race, can you only run away? The alien races that transformed into the Destruction Clan howled angrily and ran, wanting to kill Ji Yunfan directly, but they really couldn't do it, and Ji Yunfan didn't entangle with them at all, but used strange body movements to get rid of them again and again, leaving these alien races that transformed into the Destruction Clan far behind. Ji Yunfan also sighed. He had practiced for so long, but in the end he still didn't dare to fight these guys head on. These bastards are chasing me relentlessly. What should I do? Although Ji Yunfan had already pulled a certain distance from them, the aliens who had transformed into the Destruction Clan were still chasing him relentlessly. Ji Yunfan was thinking while running for his life. He looked at the crazy roaring ones who didn't know how to get tired at all. They have been chasing me for a long time, and they still don't know how to get tired at all. Are the Destruction Clan so awesome? The steps that he had comprehended also consumed his own fighting spirit and mental strength, because they involved the power of rules. Although the consumption was far less than when fighting fiercely, it had consumed a lot of energy after running for half a day. I'm attacking with all my strength. If I only attack one, I can easily kill it. But now they are using a strange battle formation, which is almost a whole. If I want to kill them, I have to kill all of them together. Ji Yunfan said secretly, I still can't seem to do this. Ji Yunfan is very clear about the current situation, and these aliens who have transformed into the Destruction Clan are following him like a dogskin plaster, which makes him very uncomfortable. Even if he kills one or two by chance, he will probably have to pay a great price. The important thing is that these Destruction Clan have a very strong recovery ability. If they can't be dealt a fatal blow, they will probably recover soon. What should I do? What should I do? Ji Yunfan kept thinking. There is no way. Disgusting. It's really disgusting. Facing these monsters, Ji Yunfan felt that he had no idea where to start. I'm afraid even if you are a peak saint, you will be helpless when facing them. Ji Yunfan is very aware of his weakness. His weakness is that he has just entered the saint level not long ago. The damn Destruction Clan is so disgusting. What should I do now? Aliens, haven't you always been targeting our human race? In that case, don't blame me for being cruel. Ji Yunfan quickly thought of a way to divert the trouble. Ji Yunfan suddenly turned around and stopped. Finally, I'm not running away. Human race, have you exhausted your strength? It's impossible to get rid of us. The aliens who transformed into the Destruction Clan also stopped. Yunfan turned around and suddenly ran in another direction. This bastard, you dare to play tricks on us. The aliens who transformed into the Destruction Clan roared and chased in the direction of Yunfan again. After running for more than half an hour, Yunfan came to a temporary station built in the underground city. After seeing the temporary station, Yunfan's mouth corner slightly raised, revealing a mocking smile, and then ran directly in the direction of the station. What if there is actually a human race who dares to come to our greedy wolf underground city station? The temporary guards of the station couldn't help but be stunned when they saw Yunfan running wildly. Damn human race, stop right now. This is not the place for you. If it were normal times, these temporary guards would never let a human race go so easily. However, the entire Lake Plain is now in crisis. As city guards, they will never allow anything beyond their control to happen in the garrison. Yunfan ignored the guards' warnings and continued to run towards the residents. If you don't stop, we will attack you. Seeing that Yunfan seemed to ignore them, the guards took out their crossbows and shot directly at Yunfan. Yunfan easily avoided all the attacks with two shifts. The aliens who had transformed into the Destruction Clan also arrived late. Who are you? Stop right now. Seeing those very strange looking aliens who had transformed into the Destruction Clan, the guards felt very uneasy. At this time, many strong men had appeared in the entire garrison. They ran towards Yunfan and the aliens who had transformed into the Destruction Clan one by one. For a while, arrows rained down. Damn bastards, you dare to attack us, we must eat you. The constant pursuit of Yunfan has made these aliens who have transformed into the Destruction Clan lose all their patience and become extremely brutal. The Destruction Clan was born for destruction. They are cruel and bloodthirsty. The meaning of their existence is to destroy all living things. In order to let the aliens in the greedy wolf underground city help him block these aliens who have transformed into the Destruction Clan, Yunfan directly faced those attacks and approached the greedy wolf underground city. More and more alien warriors came out at once. However, the aliens who transformed into the Destruction Clan directly attacked the aliens in the underground city. How could those people in the garrison stop the saint level warriors who transformed into the Destruction Clan? They were defeated and killed one by one. Chapter 485, Diverting the Trouble. Damn bastard, what on earth is going on? At this time, the saint level masters in the underground city also appeared, and they had already fought with the aliens who had transformed into the Destruction Clan. Although they didn't know what was going on, the aliens who were transformed into the Destruction Clan threw all other thoughts behind their heads in the face of life and death, and only had this battle in their hearts. Die. Just as the aliens who had transformed into the Destruction Clan rushed in front of him, Yunfan immediately rushed forward, and the Takai diagram unfolded around his body and rotated and stirred, making it impossible for the aliens who had transformed into the Destruction Clan to get close. Goodbye, brothers. Flash was used repeatedly and disappeared in a short while. Although Yunfan had escaped, the station of the greedy wolf underground city was in a rage. The aliens who had transformed into the Destruction Clan wantonly killed the members of the greedy wolf underground city. Haha, you are really too weak. You are really too weak. The aliens who had transformed into the Destruction Clan didn't care at all. These strong men in the underground city could only leave a trace of scars on them after passing through the obstruction of the aura of destruction. Who are you, and why are you attacking my greedy wolf underground city? The leading saint level warrior asked loudly. Only death can bring us strength. Your death brings us strength. You should feel honored. The alien who transformed into the Destruction Clan said loudly without any scruples. Are you the Destruction Clan? The leading saint level warrior seemed to have thought of something, and his face suddenly changed. Damn, shouldn't you have been destroyed long ago? As long as there is war, there will be destruction. Our power is endless, so how can we be destroyed? The alien who transformed into the Destruction Clan laughed unscrupulously while killing. Not much power left. The saint-level warrior who led the greedy wolf underground city sensed the decline of his energy, gritted his teeth, and rushed up suddenly, like a rock soaring into the sky. Whoosh! He had transformed into a werewolf, and leaped to a height of more than 10 meters. During the leap, the saint-level strongman who led the greedy wolf underground city had an ancient magic scroll in his hand. This forbidden spell-level magic scroll was given to him by the patriarch of the Greedy Wolf clan when he left the Greedy Wolf underground city so that he could deal with emergencies. Damn bastard. Leave my Greedy Wolf underground city station quickly, otherwise I will activate this forbidden spell-level magic scroll. The saint-level strongman who led the Greedy Wolf underground city shouted loudly with all his strength. Damn it, you actually have a forbidden spell-level magic scroll in your hand? The arrogant face of the alien who transformed into the Destruction Clan showed a trace of fear. Once something involves the forbidden spell level, it is absolutely extraordinary. Although they are sure that they can survive under the key axis, it will definitely not be easy. The aliens who transformed into the Destruction Clan hesitated for a moment and said, "We'll let you go for now. If we meet you again next time, we won't let you off easily." As he said that, the aliens who transformed into the Destruction Clan stopped attacking and turned away. Damn it, what happened just now? Who on earth provoked this guy from the Destruction Clan? Seeing that the aliens who transformed into the Destruction Clan had left, the saint-level strongman who led the Greedy Wolf underground city asked loudly. It was a despicable human race. He led these monsters here. A soldier on guard said. Where did that person go? It seems that he sneaked away while we were fighting these monsters. Arsehole. I didn't expect that my Greedy Wolf underground city would suffer such heavy losses because of a small human race. Anyone who encounters a human race on the Lazelic plane will be killed. Yunfan naturally didn't know all this. If he knew, he would definitely cause more trouble for the Greedy Wolf underground city garrison to let them know that the human race is not easy to mess with. After escaping from the entanglement of the Destruction Clan, Yunfan soon met a team of human beings. Yunfan believed that he could not be as familiar with the Lazelic plane as the natives of the underground world, so he decided to act with the human beings in this team. Seeing that Yunfan was also a member of the human race, the team members readily agreed. In the underground world, the human race is very united. Even if they are not from the same tribe or village, they often help each other if they encounter trouble. Because he joined this team, Yunfan naturally joined the night patrol. The next day, everyone woke up one after another, washed by a stream, hunted some monsters, picked some wild fruits to eat, and then continued on the road. After walking for several hours, the team did not stop on the road. The Lazelic plane is really uneasy now, and the human team has its own tasks. Yunfan naturally knew that they were going to find medicinal materials to treat the ancestors of the human race. Although Yunfan had already obtained those medicinal materials, he was not ready to give them to these underground human beings now. Because the strength of this team is not strong, it may be difficult to protect these medicinal herbs. Brother Yunfan, it seems that this is your first time to come to the Lazelic plane. A middle-aged human man said to Yunfan as he walked. Yes, this is my first time to come to the Lazelic plane. Isn't it, Uncle Tank? I used to live in the Lazelic plane. Later, because the ancestor of the human race was injured, those hateful aliens drove us out. The middle-aged human man gritted his teeth and said, over the mountain is our original village. The mountain that the middle-aged human man said was not a real mountain. It is not an exaggeration to describe it as a hill. Uncle, are you coming to the Lazelic plane this time to find medicinal herbs to treat the ancestor of the human race? Of course, as long as the injury of our ancestor of the human race can be healed, our lives will slowly get better. The middle-aged human man said. Yunfan nodded slightly and said nothing more. When climbing a small hill, someone heard the roar of an animal in the distance. It's almost there. We can return to our original home after climbing over here. I just don't know if the houses in the village are still there. Hey, uncle, look at those buildings in the distance. Are they your original houses? Yunfan pointed to the front. It was a relatively flat hill, which was still far away from here, but the hill could no longer block everyone's sight. Yes, That's our original village, but I'm afraid it has been occupied by aliens now. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 486 Temporary Team. Uncle, aren't you going to take a look? Yunfan couldn't help but ask. What are we going to do now? Even if we go, I'm afraid we can't be the opponent of those aliens, not to mention that we have a mission now. Go further and you will find the rotten swamp. The whole swamp is brewing a very strong poisonous gas, so if you want to cross the swamp, you must be prepared in advance. Yunfan nodded slightly. If he hadn't followed this human team, he would have had a lot of trouble if he had rashly entered here. It seems that his decision to join this team and take the risk is still very correct. Not far from the swamp, everyone quickly found a plant called Ironheart Orchid. This grass is somewhat similar to the SYNOPSIS on Earth, but it has the function of isolating the poisonous gas in the swamp. Little brother Yunfan, you should take this Ironheart Orchid quickly. Take the Ironheart Orchid, and you won't have to worry about the poisonous gas in the swamp later. Yunfan looked at the plant that looked like a phalaenopsis in his hand and smiled slightly. He wanted to see how effective it was. To be honest, his physique was quite special, so he was not too worried about the poisonous gas in the swamp. Yunfan bit off half of the Ironheart Orchid, and the fragrance immediately spread. His mouth was full of fragrance, and he felt that all the sweat pores in his body were dilated. I didn't expect that there would be such an orchid in this swamp. After taking the Ironheart Orchid, everyone set out again. The human team was lucky enough to find several good herbs. The middle-aged man in the lead also showed excitement and said, "This trip was not in vain. We have harvested 3 good herbs. Maybe there is one that can cure our ancestor. I really don't know what happened in the depths of the swamp. Should we go deeper? Of course we have to keep moving forward. If we go deeper, we may find something. Some powerful monsters have escaped. This is a rare opportunity, and there may be some amazing changes happening in the depths of the swamp. Maybe we can find more herbs." It seems that the level of this human team is not high, and they don't know what kind of herbs are needed to heal the injuries of the human ancestor. But boss, the strange sound deep in the swamp really makes me feel uneasy. The middle-aged man in the lead nodded and said, "For more than an hour, a strange sound has been heard every once in a while, and the entire swamp seems to have undergone some incredible changes. All the monsters in the swamp have disappeared. However, it's a good thing that it is like this. Otherwise I'm really afraid that we will be ambushed by some powerful monster. That strange sound is very strange, as if something is whipping the soul. Sakan, what do you think that sound is?" "I think it seems that there is some powerful creature that is forcibly breaking through the seal," Sakuden said uncertainly. "Are you sure?" Yunfan's face changed slightly. "Of course not. This is just my guess. What happened in the depths of the swamp? What's the smell?" Yunfan showed doubt and said, "Why is there a faint fishy smell?" The middle-aged man in the lead, Tank, smiled slightly. "Yunfan, little brother, you must be overthinking. How can there be any smell?" But he soon frowned, took a deep breath, and then changed color in an instant, saying, "It smells like a swamp centipede." Then the middle-aged man in the lead suddenly changed his face and ordered others, "Go. Swamp centipedes are coming." "Swamp centipede? What is that?" Yunfan was a little puzzled after hearing the other party's words, but soon he knew what a swamp centipede was. Just a few hundred meters ahead, a hideous giant centipede came up, with palm-sized scales shining coldly, a pair of red lantern-like eyes revealing 2 bloodlights, hundreds of pairs of tentacles shaking and swinging, and yellow venom flowing out of its mouth. After touching the vegetation, it turned it into yellow water on the spot. After seeing the appearance of the so-called swamp centipede, Yunfan's face changed immediately. Although he was powerful, he couldn't help but feel scared when facing this kind of monster. And from this swamp centipede, Yunfan felt a lot of pressure. Saint level. The whole human team began to flee. If they were a step late, they might be worried about their lives. The powerful monster of the abyss centipede was beyond their imagination. If they didn't leave here, the tragic end could be imagined. This human team was very fast, just like a monkey, rushing and jumping, and then went away without looking back. We are really in danger if we are caught by this swamp centipede. Everyone fled while looking back, only to see a person standing upright in the swamp over there, with 2 blood lights shooting out of his eyes, which made people feel terrified involuntarily. That guy seems to be a little bit wrong, as if he is controlled by something. He doesn't seem to have any intention of attacking us. Yunfan ran with the team, muttering in his heart, what is going on? Oh no, the swamp centipede has found us. Someone suddenly shouted. There were rumbling sounds from the direction of the swamp centipede, and many low bushes were overwhelmed by the swamp centipede. It came in the direction of everyone's escape. We must leave here quickly, otherwise we will all die here. Let's run away quickly, and let those big guys deal with this swamp centipede. No, this swamp centipede is too fast. We will definitely be caught up by it halfway, and there is no other way now. Everyone ran fast while discussing, but this swamp centipede is the local snake here, and is very familiar with everything here. It is as fast as lightning. Wherever it passes, all the grass and trees fall to the sides to make way for it, and Yunfan and his group have to be careful not to fall into the swamp, and soon slow down. This swamp centipede was like a tireless monster. Wherever it passed, the ground shook, the grass broke, and the trees snapped. It was as if there was no obstacle, and it was walking on flat ground. It opened its bloody mouth and waves of foul smells kept rushing in. Yunfan did not feel any discomfort, but the other human races present felt as he and said, this swamp centipede is too poisonous. The poison mist floated over from such a long distance. I feel a little weak. Although they all took Ironheart Orchid, when they entered the swamp, the Ironheart Orchid could only resist the ordinary poisonous gas in the swamp. Chapter 487, a hero emerges from youth. However, the swamp centipede's toxicity could not be removed by it. Hurry up and put the petals of the Ironheart Orchid in your mouth. Uncle Tank was also very anxious. The swamp centipede was moving at an amazing speed, getting closer and closer, and was about to catch up. If any member of his team had an accident, it would be too late to regret. These people holding the Ironheart Orchid in their mouths did play a significant role. The people holding the petals of the Ironheart Orchid in their mouths were much more sober than before. In the back, the swamp centipede closed the distance again and cut off the bushes that blocked the way. The momentum was terrifying. The low grass automatically separated, presenting a road exclusively for the swamp centipede. The eyes of the swamp centipede were bloodshot, and it sprayed a large mouthful of poisonous mist. Although there was still a considerable distance between them, the sound of kai kai kept ringing around, and the things that blocked the swamp centipede were about to melt and turned into yellow water. It was simply horrifying. If it weren't for the petals of the Ironheart Orchid in these people's mouths, the end can be imagined. I'm afraid it would be a corpse water on the ground. The poison of this swamp centipede is too overbearing. If it continues like this, everyone will die here. If it were an ordinary person, he would have been caught up by the swamp centipede long ago. It is too fast. This is his home ground. With the home advantage, he can be said to be as fast as lightning. Fortunately, these people originally lived around the swamp and were quite familiar with the environment in the swamp. Otherwise, if it were someone else, they would have been caught up long ago. Everyone felt a darkness in front of them, as if something was covering the sky and the sun. It turned out that the swamp centipede was almost catching up to them, only a few dozen meters away. Everyone present couldn't help but change color, and they turned sharply and dodged to the side. The swamp centipede rushed past directly, but it was not as clumsy as imagined. The huge tail swept across like a long whip from the void. For a moment, the bushes flew everywhere, and the stench was pungent. Although not all the people present were hit by the giant tail of the swamp centipede, many were hit by broken bushes. The wood had grown in the swamp for a long time, so it was like a rock. It hit them and knocked them out on the spot. Because they lived in a harsh environment, the bodies of the human race and the alien races in the underground world were very strong. They relied on their own bodies to block this powerful impact. If they were just ordinary people, they would have broken bones and tendons. Even so, most of the people present had their blood boiling. They staggered and rushed out for dozens of steps before they stabilized their bodies. It seemed that they had been seriously injured. Suddenly, a great sense of crisis came to the hearts of these people. At this time, a sharp sound of breaking through the air came, and the swamp centipede opened its mouth and sprayed yellow toxins at everyone again. "Let's go. Get out of here quickly." Just when those people thought they were doomed, a voice suddenly came over, and then they saw a figure standing in front of them, holding a long sword in his hand, facing the swamp centipede from a distance. It turned out to be Brother Yunfan. His aura is so strong. I can only feel my powerful aura on the elders. Could it be that he has entered the holy level? Demon sealing sword technique. The sword was like the wind, like the strong wind between heaven and earth tearing the void. Sure, the sword instantly penetrated the heavy obstacles, deeply pierced the tail of the swamp centipede, and even pierced into the abdominal cavity. The terrible holy power contained in it burst out directly, and there was no defense inside the body to resist, and suddenly bang. It exploded directly. Yunfan held the Daoluo sword. Whoosh. Yunfan instantly rushed up and flew into the sky, and the space magic flashed and unfolded, instantly making the swamp centipede empty. Die. Yunfan flashed behind the elbow centipede, then kicked his feet hard, performed the magical steps, and dived down directly from a high place. At this moment, Yunfan's speed seemed to have reached an extreme. Brother Yunfan is so fast. That's not because of his fast speed, but because he just used space magic. Isn't he a warrior? How could he use space magic? How could I know this? Leader, what should we do now? What should we do? Of course, we should support Brother Yunfan. We humans can't run away from the battlefield. Support Brother Yunfan. The people in the team launched their attacks while talking. Although their attacks did not have much effect on the swamp centipede, they also attracted the attention of the swamp centipede. Die. Just when the swamp centipede was distracted, Yunfan paid all his attention to the Daoluo divine sword in his right hand, and stabbed it directly down. The swamp centipede suddenly stopped, raised its head, and looked at Yunfan, who was diving above with bloodshot eyes. Its eyes didn't even have the slightest color. It seemed a little dull and numb, and it seemed to be struggling. Demon sealing sword technique. Falling thunder demon fire. Yunfan swooped down, and the tip of the sword turned into a thunderbolt. In the eyes of the swamp centipede, the sword was no longer a sword. Eternal demon fire. Yunfan injected the flames of dark magic and fire magic directly into the Daoluo sword in his hand. At this moment, whether it was the magic element in Yunfan's body or the Dao Qi he cultivated, they had been stimulated to the extreme. The penetrating power transformed by the extreme speed and the terrifying sword formed by the Daoluo sword were completed at this moment. In fact, this was also a sudden whim of Yunfan. He didn't expect that the one he slashed out would be unprecedentedly powerful. Swish. The Daoluo sword in Yunfan's hand directly broke the head of the swamp centipede. As the huge body of the swamp centipede fell, almost everyone, including Yunfan, couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. Brother Yunfan, no senior, you really made it so hard for us to hide it. I didn't expect you to be such a powerful person. Uncle Tank couldn't help but smile bitterly. Uncle Tank, I didn't mean to hide it from you. You didn't ask me how strong I am. Yunfan responded, and uncle, don't call me senior or anything like that. I'm not even 20 years old this year. Don't you think I'm old when you call me senior? It's true that heroes emerge from youth. I've lived for most of my life, but my strength is still so limited. You're not even 20 years old this year, but you've already reached a level that we can't even dream of. After hearing what Yunfan said, the others couldn't help but smile bitterly, but it's good this way. If there were a few more people like you, our human race would be able to live better. Chapter 488, The Guillotines. Brother Carton, our human race will definitely get better. After the incident with the swamp centipede, everyone was no longer as relaxed as before when facing Yunfan, and they all looked stiff and stiff. As they went deeper into the swamp, more and more monsters and alien warriors appeared, and the strange voices were often heard. The team that Yunfan joined soon decided to give up. The enemies that they could not meet were getting stronger and stronger, and they were just a burden to Yunfan here. The strong men from the major underground cities and the strong men from the temples have already gone deep into the swamps, and Yunfan has also seen many alien warriors here. The human race in the underground world does not seem to be welcomed by the strong men in the temples. They are all arrogant and look at the appearance of the human race in the underground world as if they were looking at a beggar. Leader, it's the man who led the people of the destruction clan to our station. Yunfan couldn't help but look in the direction of the speaker and saw the aliens in the greedy wolf underground city not far away looking at him viciously. Damn human, are you the one who led the people of the destruction clan to our base? The leader of the greedy wolf underground city asked loudly. Yes. Yunfan responded in a very calm tone, as if he was narrating an extremely ordinary thing. Damn bastard, I think you don't want to live. You dare to provoke our greedy wolf underground city. That thing is, that he doesn't want to lose the big picture, because of the small. A priest of the temple suddenly spoke. It seems that the alien races underground and the temple have reached a certain agreement. Everyone restrained each other and tried not to have any conflicts. It seems that the charm of the world crystal is really great, which can make them put aside the contradictions and hatred between each other. Yunfan shook his head. Everyone entered a strange cave and saw corpses all over the ground. A rough estimate showed that there were hundreds of them. And from these corpses, it can be seen that they all experienced inhuman torture before they died, and they included people of various identities, from the human race and alien races in the underground world, and even the knights of the temple. The torches burning on the surrounding walls illuminated the place brightly. This place should be a prison. There are many iron bars around it, and there are some torture instruments in it, which seem to be used to teach those disobedient prisoners a lesson. In the center, a high platform was built with stones. Several pillars on it were tied with corpses, and these corpses were bled before they died. Not far away, there was a very large pool filled with bright red blood. Damn it, who dared to kill my temple knights? How dare you desecrate the bodies of my temple knights like this? Who dared to kill my saint clan boy? Seeing this situation, Yunfan couldn't help but frown deeply. All the arrangements here looked like an altar. Just when the strong men were furious, a corpse suddenly fell into the blood pool from nowhere and sank into it with a plop. Then the blood pool was bubbling with blood bubbles, and then the blood pool was half boiling. After a long time, the blood pool returned to calm again. At this time, an abrupt figure suddenly appeared in front of everyone. The figure threw the corpses into the blood pool in front of him. The blood in the blood pool was getting more and more, and it was about to overflow. The strange figure had a strange smile on his face, as if he was mocking everyone's ignorance. For a while, the heads of the major temples and the heads of the major dungeons roared. This was a naked contempt for them, and they didn't take them seriously at all. The strange figure showed his appearance with a white bone staff in his hand. He looked at everyone with a skinny body and expressionless face, as if the people in front of him were already dead. There was no emotion in his grey-brown pupils. Death and destruction are your final destination. As soon as Yunfan entered here, he immediately retreated to the corner, using the gap in the corner to observe everything here. After seeing the appearance of the strange man, Yunfan couldn't help but underestimate him. It seems that this guy should be a believer of the destruction clan. He seems to be setting up an altar. I wonder what he plans to do. Old man, don't play tricks here. Tell me, are the members of our holy clan killed by you? A leader of an alien race asked loudly. Death and destruction are your final destination. The man repeated that sentence, but did not answer the question of the alien leader. Damn old guy dares to play tricks here. If that's the case, you can die. The leader of the alien race stood up angrily, holding a black fork in his hand, and killed the weird guy. But before the alien leader could take a few steps forward, a strange blood-colored light isolated the alien leader outside. The alien leader was instantly furious and threw the black fork in his hand towards the blood-colored light. However, what was beyond everyone's expectation was that after the black fork hit the blood-colored light, it was bounced back. What is going on? What is this blood-colored light? Everyone's heart was full of questions. Several priests in the temple looked solemn and discussed in a deep voice. Is this light blood energy? The people who control blood energy are called blood drops. It is said that they are slaves of the destruction clan. I don't know anything about the altar arranged by the blood drop. I don't know what this altar is for. If it is really the blood drop, no matter what he does, he must be stopped. The destruction clan is the enemy of the gods, and naturally our enemy. It is our mission to destroy all the destruction clans. The blood drop waved the white bone staff in his hand and chanted a spell in a low voice. The spell seemed so mysterious that no one present could understand it. The blood in the blood pool on the altar suddenly boiled and gathered together in an instant. Another very strange spell was chanted. The blood in the blood pool seemed to have taken shape, turning into a mass of blood-colored smoke, pouring into the center of the altar. It was as if the whole world had suddenly turned into a world of blood. The blood formed a vortex, and the corpses that had just sunk to the bottom were strangely reassembled together, gradually forming a monster with two sharp horns on its head and a tail covered with barbs on its waist. Chapter 489 The Skeleton Evil God. We can't wait any longer. Let's all attack together. We must not let him create the evil god. This monster was condensed from the white bones, and a vast and strange blood energy spread from his body, filling the entire venue with his evil aura. It was a violent, murderous and extremely bloodthirsty demon. Even though he was far away, Yunfan felt a chill in his heart. His eyes suddenly stared at the monster, not daring to look away, concentrating on observing all the movements of the monster. Oh my god, he actually created an evil god through the altar. A temple priest hummed in disbelief, his eyes full of surprise. Gods are powerful beings in legends, because they have comprehended the power of the law to the extreme, have the godhood, and can communicate with the most fundamental power of this world. They have supernatural powers that penetrate the heavens and the earth, but they are bound by the laws of the planes, and cannot reveal their true bodies in this world. However, through some rituals and some media, some people in this world actually use mysterious secret methods to create this kind of thing. That is not a god, but better than a god. If this thing is perfected, it will have the strength of a demigod. Yunfan had this feeling in his heart. Yunfan had always been very wary of things related to the Destruction Clan. He never thought that the blood droplet could create such an evil thing. Although he wanted to destroy it, he knew that he couldn't do it with his current strength. Even if he took action, it might cause others to target him. A series of mysterious ancient voices came from the mouth of the blood droplet. The two people were puzzled and didn't know what this series of voices meant. However, the evil god seemed to be able to communicate with him directly. The blood droplet's face, which was originally a little arrogant, suddenly became ferocious, and then it quickly chanted a spell and suddenly floated around. Not good. Yunfan saw the ferocious expression on the other party's face and immediately knew that he was going to suffer. He suddenly cried out and planned to stay away from this place of trouble. Everyone present took out their weapons and launched a strong attack, but their attacks did not hurt the evil god at all. The faces of the people present became ugly and they unwillingly used their powerful means, but no matter magic or fighting spirit, they could not cause much damage to the evil god. It's still a long way to go. Your attack is really unsatisfactory. The blood droplet shook his head and sighed, and his green eyes were full of endless disappointment. There is no one I want to find among you. I have to wait. You. I can only kill you. Who does this old monster want to find? Everyone hurriedly began to retreat, and the dignity of the strong had long been thrown aside. Then do you know who we are? How dare you treat us like this? Who are you? Aren't you just the slaves of the temple? The blood droplet did not take everyone seriously at all. Damn bastard. Aren't you afraid that our temple will encircle and suppress you? The priest in the temple asked loudly. If you are not worried about the master's plan being leaked, do you think your temples can still exist on the continent? The corner of the blood droplet's mouth curled up slightly, revealing a mocking smile. Yunfan had already retreated dozens of meters away at this moment. He knew that now was not the time to act rashly. Many temple knights and aliens suffered heavy losses under a wave of attacks. The evil god monster hunched forward, walking slowly, but each step was dozens of meters. In terms of speed alone, it was actually much faster than most people. I don't know when the weird blood droplet has stood on the evil god. Whether it is his walking speed or attack speed, it is faster than most people present. This is also the first time that Yunfan has encountered such a helpless guy after entering the Lazelic plane. Although this thing cannot break through the god level due to the law, it is already at the peak of the demigod state. It seems that the weird seal here does not have much effect on him. How can it be so tough? Both the person in charge of the temple and the person in charge of the alien race were extremely anxious at this moment. According to the description in the first book of the temple, it would be very difficult to destroy this so-called evil god, unless they activated the divine formation, and borrowed the power of the gods. Or they used divine arts, to borrow the power of the gods they believed in, but in this strange laser-like plane, they had lost contact with the gods they believed in, and could not borrow any power from the gods. Their so-called divine arts became a decoration, so they all felt desperate now. Die, don't struggle, become the material for my research. I will definitely create a more powerful evil god. A hoarse voice sounded, and a hunched blood droplet stood on the evil god and said faintly, sword of light, great light curse, sigh of the wind god, thunderbolt. The leaders of the temples one by one have shown their powerful attack power, but these attack powers are like walking in circles of small waves for the white bone evil god in front of them, and they can't shake his body at all. Go. The guardian knights of the major temples, holding their weapons, rushed directly towards the white bone evil god. The guardian knights of these temples are the most loyal servants of the gods, and they can give up everything for the temples. We must escape quickly. Defense is useless. We must find a ray of hope. Although the aliens are very desperate, they are not willing to give up. You should stop struggling. Let me transform you into evil gods. Do you see how powerful my little baby is? The blood drop sighed. The blood drop rode the white bone evil god directly, and rushed towards the temple knights. It didn't bother to care about the long swords in the hands of these temple knights, and let the long swords of these temple knights pierce its body. The evil god directly hit the temple knights. Bang, bang, bang. The armors of the temple knights were torn apart in an instant, and the strong blood and destructive aura directly penetrated the chests of the temple knights, causing them to fall far away. Almost all the attacked temple knights were lying on the ground with a big hole in their chests, and their bodies were almost torn in two. Chapter 490. Amazing battle. Even if these temple knights were lucky enough to survive, they could not move at all when they lay there. With such a big hole in their chest, their whole bodies were paralyzed in an instant. And the evil god in the distance was already walking over here, and it was afraid that he would be in front of those big shots in a second. Die. Don't make these boring struggles. The white bone evil god stepped forward. No. The people present had endless desires in their hearts. The desire for life, especially those in charge of the temple. They themselves were not bad in strength, and they had a high status in the temple and a high power on the continent, so they were more eager to live. Although they believed in gods, it did not mean that they could give up their lives for gods. What should I do? How can I survive? Many people were desperate at this moment. Escape madly. Whether it was the person in charge of the temple or the leader of the alien race, they all ran back madly. I saw the white bone evil god rampant all the way, breaking all the grass and trees, rushing here quickly, and the strong fishy smell made people want to vomit. Yunfan and some of the alliance troops with decent strength escaped from the strange cave. Now is the time to escape, and everyone wants to grow another pair of legs. The speed of each one is amazing, which has exceeded their original speed by a lot. In their eyes, an ordinary human Yunfan is even faster. He rushes to the front and leads the crowd, which makes the leaders of the major temples feel crazy. From his dress, it can be seen that he does not belong to any temple. Even an ordinary person ran ahead of them, which made the servants of these gods angry and hated themselves. To be honest, everyone who can come here is very extraordinary, but they are far from being able to compete with the evil gods. As for the leaders of the temples, they are even more extraordinary, otherwise they would not be valued by their gods. However, on the laser-like plane, the strength of everyone is greatly discounted. But they were far from being able to compare with Yunfan, who was cultivating the Green Emperor's fighting spirit. Yunfan's body had now undergone a transformation, and his physique was far beyond the reach of ordinary warriors and magicians. Therefore, he left everyone far behind, but it was said that his physique had already approached the divine body. Among the people present, some of them were stronger than Yunfan, but in the laser-like plane, which was disturbed by the rules of this world, these people kept changing directions, trying to get rid of the pursuit of the evil god behind them. However, what made several people crazy was that the evil god was like a dogskin plaster. completely relying on them, and the speed was extremely fast. Everyone was already a little out of breath. Being chased by the evil god, life and death are unpredictable. Even clay figures have a temper, not to mention these pampered temple officials. The leaders couldn't help cursing. Damn blood droplets, damn destruction clan, my temple will sooner or later catch you all. The curses of these leaders were like adding fuel to the fire. The blood droplets on the evil god's back said leisurely, a bunch of trash. Wait until I create a more powerful evil god, and then I will slaughter your temples one by one. My god will never let you succeed. Some temple knights trembled with anger, but they had to run desperately, not daring to be too distracted. These high-ranking officials in the temple originally thought that they would get some merits and be appreciated by the gods when they came to the Lazelic plane. Who knew that the Lazelic plane would be so weird? They felt that they had been unlucky for 8 lifetimes, and now their lives were hanging by a thread. Except for a few saint-level masters, the remaining people present were obviously exhausted. Some of them cried, "Master, please let us go. We will never come here again. If you let you go, what will I use to forge the evil god?" The blood droplet said unsatisfiedly, "What will I use to unlock the seal of the master?" Yunfan couldn't help but feel moved. As a subordinate of the destruction clan, the blood droplet wanted to use the flesh and blood of these people to break the seal of the destruction clan, but the power of the evil god in front of him was too strong. Among all the people present, several people were exhausted, and the alien at the end fell directly to the ground. The evil god rushed over, and his huge white bone body directly crushed his body into meat paste, splashing a string of blood flowers. The scene was extremely bloody, and then some blood was directly absorbed by the evil god. There was a crunching sound of chewing, and then a knight of the temple was torn by an invisible force, flying backwards, and instantly sank into the mouth of the evil god, and then became a part of the evil god. Another knight of the temple, he only had time to let out a scream of fear, and then it stopped abruptly. Puff, a stream of blood came out from the evil god's sharp white teeth, and then the man was swallowed alive into the evil god's belly. In fact, during the swallowing process, the man's body had already turned into a part of those people. This terrifying scene made everyone present feel extremely frightened. We must find a way to get rid of the evil god quickly, otherwise, every time it devours a person, its strength will increase by 1 point. Someone suddenly shouted, "Yes, it must not go on like this." But the current situation can only be solved by the Pope, and the Pope and his men are not in the Lazelic plane. The so-called Pope is the person in charge of each temple, and has the same status as the Pope of the Church of Light, but these temples have been hidden from the world, and are not known to the public. Find a way to get rid of the blood drop first. The bone evil god is just following the blood drop's orders. As long as the blood drop is eliminated, the bone evil god will not be a threat. You sound nice. How can we get rid of him? The suppression of magic here is too severe. Unless there is a saint-level space magician, it is impossible to locate him in the Lazelic plane. As the distance got closer and closer, the bone evil god opened his white mouth again, and sucked a foreigner into his stomach with an extremely terrifying suction force. Blood splashed, and another person was swallowed alive by it. Threads of blood flowed out along its bones. In a blink of an eye, more than a dozen people lost their lives. Damn blood drop, just wait. My uncle is the first priest of the fire god temple, and he will definitely make you live a life worse than death and grind you to ashes. A deacon of the temple shouted in fear and anger. At this moment, he was running at the back, and was about to become the next target of the evil god. He hoped to use the reputation of his temple to make the flying guillotine hesitate to give him a chance to live. Chapter 491, All kinds of things. In the temple, the status of the priest is very noble. Although it is slightly inferior to that of the Pope, it is not comparable to that of ordinary people. Generally speaking, the first priest is the successor of the next Pope. The Fire Temple. I didn't expect to hear this name after so many years. The first priest of the Fire Temple, your uncle is Peggy, right? The blood droplet said faintly, with a trace of nostalgia in his expression. Since you have heard of my uncle's name, you should know how powerful my uncle is. He is at the peak of demigod, the peak existence in this world, and he is not comparable to a lowly blood droplet like you. The deacon said loudly. You said I was a lowlife. Do you know who I am? Do you know what your uncle did back then? As if the other part his words touched his heart, the blood droplet responded, "My name is Kyle. I wonder if you have heard of him?" "What is Kyle? Why should I have heard of him? I used to be a member of the fire temple." Kyle. Why does this name sound familiar? I seem to have heard of it somewhere. A deacon of the wind temple said to himself while running wildly. Fire temple Kyle. The first priest of the fire temple last term? Someone seemed to react suddenly. The former first priest of the fire temple. The priest who was praised as the most likely to become a god envoy. After hearing this, the deacon of the fire temple froze and cried out in disbelief. How is it possible? This Kyle, the last first priest of the fire temple, has been killed by the pagans. You are lying to me, right? Don't you think it's ridiculous? The first priest of the fire temple would actually betray his own beliefs. The blood drop laughed wildly, as if venting his unhappiness. If it weren't for Paige, how could I have such a powerful force? So in order to thank your uncle for what he did in the past, I decided to merge you with my evil god. It seems that the first priest of the fire temple was not killed by the pagans, but there was another hidden story. The white bone evil god made a squeaking sound, and blood dripped down, corroding the ground, and emitting wisps of black mist. A pair of empty eyes locked on the deacon. Everyone present felt their scalps tingling. The blood drop in front of them had already become a madman. No. The deacon screamed in fear. He felt his body lighten, and was torn by an invisible force. He flew off the ground, and flew towards the huge mouth of the white bone evil god. At this critical moment, the deacon activated the magic defense array on his robe. The red robe burst into a red light like a flame, and a wisp of red mist lingered around it. Pop. At the same time, a shield made of flames hit the head of the white bone evil god firmly, shaking it for a while, but not damaging it at all. It suddenly split the flame shield, and flew it away. It fell heavily in the distance and smashed a big hole in the ground. The flame shield was not destroyed. After all, it was a magic armor that his uncle personally sacrificed for him. There were many magic runes engraved inside the flame shield, and various powerful domains were laid out. It was difficult to really destroy it. This kid's cultivation was not enough, and he could not exert the true power of the flame shield. He could not defend against the attack of the white bone evil god at all. Uncle, help. The deacon, who was targeted by the white bone evil god, screamed in fear. At this moment, the ring on his hand flashed with fire, forming a light curtain that protected him in the air. I didn't expect that the old guy would give it to you. It's really nostalgic. The blood droplet said faintly. I'm afraid he is not just your uncle. The deacon suddenly remembered that this was his uncle's advice to him to carry this ring with him. Now it seems that it was left for him to save his life in a critical moment. However, the ring in his hand seemed plain and unpretentious. No one expected it to have such power. At this moment, the plain ring suddenly burst into a red light again, and a fiery red figure emerged directly from the ring. The white bone evil god seemed to be afraid and quickly stepped back 2 steps, and did not attack the deacon again. After seeing the red figure, the deacon shouted, "Uncle, save me. They want to kill me." The flame light flashed, and an old man with a hunched body and wearing a red robe appeared here, but the old man's figure was a little illusory, as if he was made of pure fire elemental power. He grabbed the deacon and landed him on the ground. After seeing the man, the other temple representatives also hurried forward to greet him. First priest. Although they belonged to different temples, the people of other temples did not dare to neglect these powerful priests. Almost everyone stopped, and Yunfan was no exception. From this illusory figure, Yunfan felt a little uneasy and wanted to flee immediately, but he found that the old man's eyes seemed to sweep him a few times, so he stopped acting rashly. Although the strength of this figure was very strong, it should not be a problem for him to escape, so he wanted to stay and see how the situation developed. After all, a strong man who can separate his spirit is already at the peak of demigod, and has comprehended a little bit of the lore of the gods. Yunfan did not move his feet, but stood there quietly and watched. The old man was skinny and hunched over. He didn't look very tall. His long white hair covered his face, so his appearance could not be seen clearly. His hands were extremely dry, and he held a red magic wand like a cane. "Uncle, fortunately you arrived in time, otherwise I would have died here." the deacon said, looking at the blood droplet fiercely. "You are dead this time. My uncle will definitely purify you." The deacon gnashed his teeth and kept whispering something to the illusory figure. From his expression, we can see his hatred for the blood droplet. When he looked at the blood droplet, his eyes were gloomy and cold, full of hatred. But when he saw the face of the blood droplet, a trace of fear appeared in his expression. "Shouldn't you have died a long time ago? You're not dead, so how can I die?" The blood guillotine's voice was low and hoarse. The skinny blood guillotine, who was as thin as an old ghost, ignored the others. "Not bad, very good. I didn't expect that you have reached the peak of the demigod realm. Over the years, I have been thinking about meeting you all the time." Chapter 492 Darkness. I just didn't expect that I would just meet a clone of the spirit. But it's okay this way. I will collect the interest first and eliminate your clone as the interest you owe me. Brother Kyle, it's been so long, you still can't let it go? You actually told me to let it go. Back then, for the title of the first priest, you actually teamed up with outsiders to assassinate me. You are really nice. I didn't mean to kill you back then. I just wanted to trap you for a while. You just want to trap me until after the priest election? It seems that you really took great pains to get the identity of the first priest. Blood droplet Kyle said dimly. This ring was given to you by me back then. I didn't expect you to give it to him now. What made a despicable villain like you want to protect this little guy? You didn't hesitate to split a trace of your divine consciousness. It seems that what they said back then was not wrong. At this moment, the first priest page floated forward like a ghost, not wanting to let the other party continue. "I want to see how much strength you, the former first priest, have left." Suddenly, the flames on the body of the first priest, Peggy, surged and instantly submerged his body in it, and endless flames rushed towards him. But the blood light flashed, and a mysterious blood-colored light appeared outside the blood droplet, completely blocking the flames outside. Puff. The empty eyes on the head of the white bone evil god burst into a blood-colored color, and several dazzling lights rushed out one after another, piercing towards the first priest, Peggy. Bang! The two strange divine lights intertwined together, making a sound like the collision of divine weapons. The first priest, Peggy, held a scepter of fire in his hand, and defeated all the blood rays, causing them to scatter in the world. Everyone present was pushed out by the powerful impact of the heat. Many people had already sensed the danger and turned around quickly to escape, but the blood droplet Carl no longer gave it a chance. A blood-colored light suddenly rushed out of his dry body. Those light circles gathered together directly on the ground to form a cage, trapping everyone inside. "I said that everyone must die today. If you dare to escape, I will sacrifice you first." The blood-dropping Kyle spoke in a sinister tone, staring at everyone present. "Brother Kyle, you and I were once members of the temple, so why are we so hostile? If you want the title of the first priest, come back to the temple. How about I give it to you?" The illusory figure was even more blurred at this time. The former first priest in front of him was not something he could resist with his split spirit. "The title of the first priest. Do you think I still want it? Or do you think I can't guess your little thoughts? Now I'm already a member of the destruction. If I return to the temple, I'm afraid that those old guys can lead me. Paige, after so many years, you are still so dirty." The blood-dropping Kyle seemed extremely angry, with a fierce light in his eyes and a blood-red light on his body, as if ready to attack at any time. "Do you think the plan to replace him was designed by me? Why do you still want to quibble?" "I don't want to quibble, I just want to state a fact. You were too paranoid back then. You looked down on everyone, even His Holiness the Pope." "Do you mean that everything was arranged by the Pope? You were just going with the flow? Blame yourself for being too arrogant back then." "Haha. I didn't expect that there were so many hidden secrets about what happened back then. If you hadn't told me, I would have been kept in the dark." "Haha. That's great. Kyle, I advise you to let it go. Don't do anything under my nose." Obviously, the blood dropper had discovered that Paige wanted to contact the Fire Temple. He would never let him complete it. Otherwise, if the Pope of the Fire Temple really came, he would be in real danger. The bone evil god glowed with a bloody light. On the bones, some bloody lines appeared at some point. Those bloody lines were wriggling like snakes and insects. Then the bone evil god, with evil spirit and murderous aura, rushed towards Page. Zizzy. The light on the first priest page became fainter under the oppression of the evil god. Let's go. The first priest page forced a passage open and then said to his nephew, "Uncle, don't worry about me, I'm going to escape from here." The powerful evil spirit won again and instantly turned the condensed figure into nothingness. In the distance, everyone present couldn't help but take a breath of cold air. The former first priest, now the blood droplet Kyle, was really terrible. He killed the current first priest's spirit with a wave of his hand. His unfathomable power was frightening. You know, Page's spirit is very powerful, much stronger than the ordinary peak of the holy level. It is unexpected that such a powerful existence was destroyed here in an instant. This blood droplet made people feel terrified. The blood droplet sat on the white bone evil god and walked towards everyone. His body was as dry as a dead wood, and the whole person looked gloomy and terrifying. He was like a ghost without any sound, exuding a dead smell. The chewing sound from the mouth of the white bone evil god made people stand on end. It was like eating a living person. Yunfan's heart suddenly became nervous. This blood droplet was too scary. Yunfan felt his scalp tingling. If he was really targeted by this old guy, he would be helpless. Of the 36 strategies, running away is the best strategy. Yunfan ran away without looking back. At this time, other people reacted and followed Yunfan to run to the back. The blood droplet was stunned after seeing Yunfan's figure. He vaguely felt that this figure was familiar. It's not bad to have such courage. I will let you live for the time being, so what? Then he turned his head and stared at the deacon who summoned Page. Two fierce rays of light shot out from his white hair and kept looking at the other party. The deacon felt uncomfortable just being stared at like this, especially when he heard the conversation between the monster in front of him and his uncle. He knew that the relationship between this monster and his uncle was definitely very bad, and it could even be described as hostile. The deacon felt a little hairy. Run. Run. This was the only thought in his mind, and the only thought of everyone present. However, his speed was still too slow. Without the help of the ring's mysterious power, the deacon was instantly sucked into the mouth of the white bone evil god. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 493, Not an Opponent. Blood gushed out, and the deacon was eaten alive. The blood gushing out of the corners of the huge white bones was like a stream, and the stench was pungent. The blood mist drifted away on the spot. Although Yunfan was a little curious about the fate of the others after he left, he would not go on an adventure. He had finally escaped death, and he didn't want to put himself in danger again. I think I seem to have seen that blood drop somewhere. You forgot, in the land of death. Uncle Lee. I didn't expect it to be that person. I just don't know how many people escaped in the end. Forget it, let's not think about it. Everyone has their own life, since they chose to come to the Lazelic plane. Hello, sir. Some people whose faces were covered by black robes came forward to greet. We have almost completed what you arranged. You seem to be a little afraid of me. Don't be like this. I have always been very good to my own people. The voice of the blood drop Kyle was low and hoarse. He walked forward a few steps, looked at the people present, and then his eyes showed an extremely hot expression. It seems that it is time to start the plan. The words were extremely terrifying, and he disappeared in front of everyone in the blink of an eye. That old guy is really terrifying. Some black-robed people present couldn't help but say in horror. One of the black-robed people said, if we didn't have some value, I'm afraid we would have been refined into evil gods by him. It seems to be getting more and more interesting. The people of the bone cult seem to have done something behind my back. It seems that everything is under their control. I don't know what they want to do. The blood drop Kyle said faintly. I don't know how long Yunfan ran away, but he didn't catch up with the other party, so he stopped. At this time, a series of lights crossed the sky and rushed into the depths of the Lazelic plane. I didn't expect so many masters to come again. Yunfan couldn't help shaking his head. A few days ago, he thought that he would be invincible after entering the saint level. Now it seems that coming to the mainland is really not as simple as it seems on the surface. There are already hundreds of saint level masters appearing on this plane alone, not to mention several semi-god level masters. At this moment, the depths of the Laser Lake plane are undoubtedly very dangerous, but Yunfan did not retreat, but chose to move forward. There are so many people exploring the way for me. As long as we don't enter the deepest part of the Laser Lake plane for the time being, there shouldn't be too much crisis. Yunfan felt that the real crisis was concentrated in the deepest part of the Laser Lake plane, where an amazing change had occurred, and other areas should be relatively safe. Of course, it cannot be said to be absolutely safe. Like just now, the top strongmen on the continent would definitely not set too many traps. The mountains and forests were quiet. After walking forward for more than 10 miles, Yunfan saw a lot of rubble and even some collapsed palaces. The grass and trees could not completely cover up the former glory of the Laser Lake plain. In the process, he finally confirmed his guess that most of the monsters had fled. There were no more powerful monsters, and even some of them had hidden in the caves. Rumble. At this moment, the sound of vibration in the depths of the Laser Lake plane sounded again, and Yunfan suddenly felt a tremor in his heart, as if something was about to break the seal and come out. Even though Yunfan's physique was much better than that of an ordinary person, he still felt uncomfortable. There seemed to be a voice telling him that he must try to stop the sound from sounding again. What on earth is this thing? So strange. What does the appearance of the blood drop destroying clan indicate? Have you noticed that the intervals between these strange sounds are getting shorter and shorter, and the sound is getting louder and louder? Sakadin said. Of course I have discovered it. Didn't you say it before? The laws of this world have been changed. It is almost impossible to break through to the realm of the gods. Only by obtaining the essence of the world can I break this taboo. As long as there is a glimmer of possibility, I will stay here to take a look. While the two were talking, Yunfan also felt an extremely majestic breath of life coming from the depths of the Laser Lake plane. If he hadn't practiced the Green Emperor's fighting spirit, he would have been able to draw inferences from one instance and comprehend a trace of the true meaning of life, and he would not have been able to discover this breath of life. What do you think? Sakadin asked. Yunfan shook his head and said, I have a very absurd feeling. I feel like some kind of tyrannical creature is trying to break through some kind of seal. If you want to get the crystal of the world, you must confront that very powerful being. Sakadin showed a surprised look and said, can you feel the strength of that guy? Even if there are 100 of me now, I should not be his opponent. Forget it. Let's not think about these things for now. I don't know how long I have been walking forward. Suddenly Yunfan felt a very strong wave coming from behind him. Yunfan felt that all his hair stood up, as if something very powerful was approaching quickly. Yunfan hurriedly ran forward, and then quickly moved his body sideways, and hid to the side. A golden light passed by him. Yunfan stopped and looked in that direction. It would be fine if he didn't look, but he was shocked when he saw it. There were several demigod level warriors not far away. One of the old men burst out a flash of lightning from his body and turned into a large purple lightning net, flashing with purple light, as if it was made of crystal, and covered an old man riding a white bone evil god. The old man turned out to be the blood-dropping child Kyle who I met some time ago. At this moment, the blood-dropping child was already seriously injured, lifeless, with a wooden face. Only his eyes were shining with blood. He held the blood-colored scepter in his hand, and the scepter bloomed with brilliant blood color, trying to tear the purple lightning net apart. Not far from him, another old man's body burst into green waves, and a green crown appeared on his head, radiating green light, and the light was sharp. The brilliant green light immediately enveloped the blood-dropping child Carol, fixing him there, and the misty green wind circulated around him. Swish. The purple lightning net fell, as if it wanted to cover the blood-dropping child inside, but the blood-dropping child was also strong, and he was able to block it directly. The Thunder God Temple, the Wind God Temple, the Dark God Temple. I didn't expect that except for the Fire God Temple, all the other major temples are here. What did Paige promise you to let you all come together to deal with me? Chapter 494 Crystal of the World. The people of the Fire Temple did not promise any price, but your actions have touched the bottom line of our temple. It's not too late to stop now. The old man in purple robe said. Are you trying to stop me from releasing the Destroyer clan sealed in the laser lake plane? Kyle, don't make the same mistake again. Releasing the Destroyer clan will not benefit anyone. They are demons who only know how to destroy, and will destroy the whole world. I just want to release those demons, and destroy this disgusting world, and the shitty gods you believe in. Kyle, you dare to blaspheme. Everyone present was pale. They were all the most loyal believers of the gods. They are just a group of slaves. Yunfan was not very interested in these gods and slaves, and he didn't want to know too much. He didn't have any feelings at all, so he didn't feel anything in his heart, but he was eager for the crystal of the world. At this time, a mirage suddenly appeared in the distant sky. It was a continuous stretch of ancient buildings. The buildings had long been in ruins, but from the remains left behind, it can be seen that they were once glorious. The most surprising thing was that 6 tall stone pillars actually surrounded an altar. The altar was shining brightly, and not far away, there was actually a pond. The pond was not water, but rolling magma, burning half of the sky red. The endless and magnificent ruins of ancient buildings surrounded the altar, and the rolling magma made people feel very strange. The pattern formed by the magma was like a seal. At this moment, Yunfan was very shocked, because he saw an incredible picture. As the boiling magma surged, a colorful ice blue crystal appeared in the center of the altar, floating up and down, popping up from time to time. Crystal of the world. I don't know who suddenly shouted, and almost everyone ran towards the direction of the mirage. With the interests at the top, they couldn't care much. Almost all those who were highly capable were running at lightning speed, and disappeared from Yunfan's sight in an instant. Even the priests of the several major temples who were fighting disappeared without a trace in an instant. The strange sound came again, as if it came from the direction of the mirage. The crystal was shining and crystal clear, with a breath of time flowing in it, and at the same time, there were a lot of charms flowing in it, giving people a feeling that facing it was like facing the whole world. At this time, not only humans rushed in that direction, but also aliens, and many monsters rushed in that direction. Although they didn't know what the crystal was, they knew that once they got the crystal, they could be reborn and gain extraordinary strength. A 5-meter long bird, shining with green light, with a lot of firelight lingering on its body. It was the legendary Fenghuokingluan, the 5th ranked monster in the mainland's monster rankings. Fenghuokingluan is a 10th level demigod monster, a true top level bird. A demigod once said that, even if he met it, he could only take a detour. Of course, it was not the only one. There were many other monsters rushing over. They were all different species. Most of them were unheard of and unseen. Each was extremely powerful, like a white tiger with silver wings, 2 meters long, shining all over, as if cast from silver, quietly lying in a ruin. Other creatures did not dare to cross it. It was another top 10 monster in the mainland's monster rankings, the 10th level silver-winged flying light tiger. There was also a monster with a body like a lion and densely covered with green scales, more than 10 meters high, like a hill in front of everyone. Nearly 20 such terrifying monsters were enough to show the depth of the temptation in the depths of the laser lake plane. At this moment, they all ran towards the mirage, their eyes full of fanaticism. At this time, the blood droplet seemed to have stopped fighting with the people in the temple, but the people in the temple still surrounded him. Although they did not attack, they trapped him. The ratio of humans and monsters present was basically 1 to 1. It can be said that the strength of both sides was close, and neither monsters nor humans dared to act rashly. In fact, at the beginning, Yunfan was most worried about the old devil, the blood droplet. If the old devil went crazy, and he was also involved, it would be bad. Seeing that these people from the temple had surrounded him, he was relieved immediately, thinking that there would be no big problems. The crystal of the world is simply fascinating and fascinating. It seems to have come from the legend and cut through time and space, making people feel that time and space control everything. There are many innate pictures and texts on the glittering crystal of the world. That thing seems to have been formed naturally after the precipitation of time, not by others. The text is extremely mysterious. That is the world inscription. Sakadin exclaimed. World inscription? What is that? Legend has it that it is the words that appeared naturally when the creator God created the world. If you can understand all the words, you can reach the realm of the creator God. But since ancient times, no one, not even the Lord God and the Lord of Heaven, has figured out what these words mean. What a magical thing. Yunfan felt faintly that the world tree was eager to try, as if he was saying that he understood the meaning of these words. But now the world tree could not appear temporarily because of refining the kingdom of God. The things are good, but you have to have the corresponding strength to seize them. Yunfan couldn't help but take a long breath. Among the dozen or so level monsters, the 3 level 10 monsters at the beginning were the most terrifying, and they all had powerful attack power. Suddenly, a light sound interrupted Yunfan's thoughts. The blood-dropping Kyle on the ground was burning with blood. The blood-dropping Kyle's eyes were red, as if blood was flowing from all 7 holes. He looked coldly at the people who besieged him in the temple. He seemed to want to take action, but he suddenly gave up his raised palm and rushed out of the siege. The crystal of the world is there. Let's go together. Someone suddenly shouted. Everyone present rushed in that direction desperately. Seeing the human aliens rushing up, the monsters did not show weakness and attacked the human aliens around them, especially the beacon fire blue phoenix flying in the sky. He was in the air, very domineering, soaring into the sky, tearing an alien on the spot, and then swooping down. He brought hundreds of flames, densely packed, blazing, like a shining blade of tens of meters long falling down. Chapter 495, Flame Blowluan. Feng Ho Kingluan, you must not push your luck there. Hearing this threat, Feng Ho Kingluan let out a deep roar, and Feng Ho Kingluan's body shook violently, and then the flames began to grow again. An alien race that was as big as a hill rushed into the air, but as soon as it approached Feng Ho Kingluan, it was burned to ashes by the flames. Bang, bang, bang. The sound of powerful collisions continued to sound, and the human race and alien races that rushed forward all shook their bodies. All of them were seriously injured by the powerful force and the backlash. A few people and monsters with slightly weaker strength even fell to the ground. Yunfan was extremely shocked. What kind of monster was this that wanted to break through the barrier? What kind of power did it contain? It was so terrifying. Although he was far away, he still felt the increasingly powerful force. He was a little overwhelmed by the sound of collisions that just wanted to break the seal. At this time, a vicissitudes of life voice suddenly sounded. How many years have I been sealed for? Endless years. Sword God, are you still here? If you are still alive, then wait for my revenge. Yunfan was shocked. The unknown existence seemed very scary. He actually wanted to take revenge on the former master of the continent, the legendary sword god. The essence of the world was shaking. Many people fought hard to seize the crystal of the world. The battle was extremely tragic. A bloody light flashed, and the figure of the blood droplet appeared not far away, as if it was blasted out by the people of the temple. His face was as hen and extremely ugly. He collected all the corpses on the ground. After the bones of these powerful masters were obtained, the evil god of bones did not know how much power it contained. The momentum was even more amazing. It was not an exaggeration to describe it as destroying the world. Yunfan's heart moved because he found that the blood droplet actually looked at him meaningfully, and this look seemed to contain a lot of heavy meanings. What's going on? That legendary figure seems to have intentionally or unintentionally let me live. At this moment, from the distant sky, there were sounds of breaking through the air, and a group of demigod masters rushed over, a total of dozens of people. Then, it was like 1,000 troops and horses were galloping, and behind the dozens of masters, there were bursts of horse roars. This is a magical beast called the horse dragon beast. It is said that, because it contains dragon blood, it is liked by many knights. It came in a mighty and overwhelming manner. There was a powerful warrior on the back of each one. Although it was stepping on the ground, there were bursts of thundering sounds, as if there were thousands of troops and horses. Those warriors were all alien species, all of them were covered with scales and armor, and they were extremely ferocious. The warrior riding in the middle held a large flag in his hand, with a majestic momentum. It was written on it, "Destroy the dungeon." It was a very grand scene and momentum. Several demigods were in front, and more than a dozen saints were behind. The earth was trembling, as if a hidden dragon had emerged from the sea. You all came to this underground world, and wanted to get the world crystal of the underground world. It's too presumptuous. The world crystal should belong to the people of my underground world. The aliens who destroyed the underground city said coldly, and the terrifying momentum was rolling and surging, and the murderous aura was surging like a vast ocean. Yunfan was shocked. There were so many strong people, and there were really many strong people who destroyed the underground city. Destroying the underground city makes me feel bad. Yunfan said to himself. Whether on Earth or here, destruction has never represented a good thing. The people who destroyed the underground city are so powerful. At this time, a cold voice came from another direction. More than a dozen Pegasus knights rolled in, with murderous aura, and the oppressed earth was rumbling and trembling. You eliminated people. What virtue and ability do you have to want to control the essence of the world? Temple Alliance, God Punishment Knight. After seeing those Pegasus knights, the pupils of the people who destroyed the underground city all shrank, and all the aliens were on guard, and the aura of killing rose, and the momentum rose sharply. There is a very special organization on this continent, that is the Temple Alliance. It is said that this organization was established by the gods, and is the spokesperson of all the gods on the continent. Every knight of divine punishment is a leader of the major temples. They all hide from the world and only appear when powerful blasphemers appear. Both sides stopped, each occupying a piece of heaven and earth, confronting each other from a distance. This world is really too complicated. So many masters suddenly appeared. Yunfan has lost confidence in snatching the crystal of the world. Fight with your strength. Someone suddenly shouted among the people present, but no one took the initiative. The people of the Holy See have now rushed over. After seeing the situation in front of him, the leading pope's face became very ugly. He always thought that he was the strongest on the continent. Who knew that no less than 10 people who appeared here were stronger than him, and even several of them were in the same state as him, and they were all clones of real gods. If it weren't for the snatch of the essence of the world this time, I'm afraid these people would still hide. The people of the small forces were all shocked. The legendary big forces arrived one after another. It seemed that the birth of the world crystal was indeed amazing enough. After these big figures got the news, they all participated in it as soon as possible. I originally thought that the church and the temple were together, but now it seems that this is not the case. The temple seems to be much more powerful than the church. Yunfan showed a thoughtful look. The temple was very powerful and had left endless legends on the continent. He never thought that in the underground world, the destruction dungeon would have the strength to fight against him. How strong is a human ancestor of the underground world? He can change the rules of the underground world and even the distribution of power by himself. Yunfan had countless unknowns in his mind. He originally thought that he had become a big boss in this world, but now it seems that he is just a slightly larger ant. The whole space seemed to have a crack suddenly. The two transcendent big forces, the Divine Punishment Knight and the Destruction Dungeon, rushed over and fought briefly, but they did not try their best this time. They were all testing each other. Around them, those slightly weaker warcraft and human races scattered in a hurry. Although they were not strong enough, they instinctively sensed the danger and retreated decisively. On the other side, the strong men in other dungeons all changed color. Although they were attached to the destroyed dungeon, the world spirit suddenly appeared this time without reporting to the higher authorities. Now that he came on his own, they naturally felt a little uncomfortable. They all had their own little calculations. The appearance of two super behemoths made the people in other dungeons feel bitter. They knew that it would be difficult to gain anything. Chapter 496 Intention. Yunfan, I think it's better for you to leave quickly. The current situation has exceeded my imagination. I didn't expect that there are so many masters in this world. Sakuden suddenly suggested, this world is really too weird. That world crystal is just a mirage. I really don't want you to leave like this. It's better to be unwilling than to lose your life. Don't worry, I know my limits. Even if it's a demigod at the peak level, it's easy to defeat me, and it's unlikely that they want to kill me. Yunfan smiled and said calmly. At this time, the world crystal in the mirage was shaking constantly. The masters of the destroyed dungeon and the masters of the temple were fighting fiercely. The sound of the collision inside was getting louder and louder, and it made people feel very uncomfortable even from a distance. The people who destroyed the dungeon quickly surrounded the world crystal in the mirage. The divine punishment knights burst out with all their strength and continued to attack the masters of the destroyed dungeon. However, the alien race that destroyed the dungeon did not show any weakness. Several people actually formed a battle formation, blocked the sky, and confronted the god punishment knights. At this moment, the mirage suddenly disappeared, and then everyone present heard a sound of explosion. The people who destroyed the dungeon smiled, and the temple seemed to have thought of something, and their faces became extremely ugly. Your real intention is to release the sealed destroyer clan. At this moment, the people who destroyed the dungeon suddenly took a step in the void, and with a flash of light, they appeared where the mirage was about to disappear. No, we must stop them from releasing the destroyer clan. I didn't expect you to be so stubborn. Legend has it that the world crystal was sealed by the sword god to be used by the destroyer clan. The people of the temple and the god punishment knights had figured out everything at this time. It turned out that the legend was true. The whole earth seemed to tremble, and the battle inside had reached a fever pitch, with weapons constantly colliding with each other. The man who destroyed the dungeon entered the mirage and quickly broke the deadlock. It seemed that he had broken many of the restrictions inside. Soon, cracks in the void appeared in front of everyone. Everyone who was guarding outside took action, wanting to fight for the legendary world crystal. Everyone, don't mess around. Everyone must stop the man who destroyed the dungeon. They are preparing to release the destroyer clan sealed by the sword god. Everyone present is the elite of the continent, so you must have heard of the destroyer clan. Someone suddenly spoke, but obviously, his words did not attract too much attention. Although many people hesitated, they were willing to take the risk when they thought about getting the world crystal and having the opportunity to break through the gods. They even had to stop the people from the temple from destroying the dungeon and opening the seal. The benefits had made them crazy. Boom. Suddenly, there was a loud tremor. All the people around the mirage turned pale and retreated backwards. A vast and unpredictable strange force rushed out of the mirage, like the roar of the eternal sky, and the waves hit the shore, blowing away some of the people closest to him. The scene was a mess. The dark light rushed out of the mirage, and the foul breath made it impossible to open your eyes. The power of destruction surged like a tidal wave. A monster with wings on its back walked directly out of the mirage, and the strong power and foul breath were all emanating from his body. The breath of destruction surrounded the monster. What made people feel weird was that his body was full of majestic life breath, and the vast power swept in all directions. After so many years, I finally came out of the seal. My god. The people who destroyed the dungeon knelt down one by one, their eyes full of heat. Damn Houston, it actually banned this world, so that I can only play the peak state of demigod. The monster said leisurely, but even so, what can I do? I'm still the most powerful existence in this world. I didn't expect that a god of the destruction clan was sealed here, and his godhead is still intact. Sakadin couldn't help but exclaimed. Anyone who wants to stop me from breaking the seal will die. The monster said with a fierce look on his face. The faces of the divine punishment knights and the people in the heavy temple became very ugly after hearing his words. Stop it. Anxious shouts came from not far away, and then more than a dozen figures rushed out together. The first ones were the high priests of the temple. At this moment, they were all surrounded by powerful power. I said, anyone who stopped me will die. Some strange lines suddenly appeared on the monster's face. The strange lines became more dense as time passed, and the strange aura of destruction on his body also charged up with the strange lines, and rushed into the sky. The divine punishment knights, and the high-ranking officials of the temple had not looked very happy, since the monster appeared. They had never expected this incident to happen. Now the world crystal had not seen it, and they had provoked such a powerful enemy. The destruction clan was the enemy of the whole world. Even if they did not want to be enemies with the people of the destruction clan, the meaning of the destruction clan's existence was killing and destruction. In order to improve their own strength, they would not let them go in the end. The faces of the people present were full of unwillingness, but facing such a powerful destruction clan, they were powerless and prepared to act according to circumstances. Could it be that there was no world crystal here at all, and everything was just a scam? Open the way for the master. The people of the destruction dungeon shouted loudly. The divine punishment knights rode on Pegasus and formed a battle formation, blocking the sky, blocking this place, and intercepting the monster with wings on its back. The practitioners of the temple also took action, either using magic seals or directly rushing over with fighting spirit. The monster and the people of the destruction dungeon were instantly besieged there. Everyone present, do you think that, if you don't take action, the people of the destruction clan will let you go? The destruction clan was born for killing, and their gods are deep in their bones. When he recovers, the whole continent will probably be slaughtered by him. At this time, many of the strong men present were still hesitant, but some took action. Most of the people who took action were not top-level strong men, but fortunately, there were so many of them that they had suppressed the monster and the people who destroyed the dungeon. Chapter 497 Appearance. Then all the god punishment knights surrounded them, but the people who destroyed the dungeon looked unhappy. Their absolute strength was very strong, but they seemed alone in front of so many people. Of course, the monster of the destruction clan who had returned to the arena was even more alone, but he did not give up. The breath of destruction rose to the sky, and the black light in his eyes was more than 10 meters long. His momentum was even stronger than before, just like a demon walking out of purgatory. Crack, crack. At this moment, the weapons in the hands of many people slowly cracked under the impact of the destruction demon, and then shattered with a bang. Bang. At this moment, a monstrous breath of destruction burst out in an instant, shaking everyone away. No one could withstand this violent force. The few people standing in the front of the Temple Alliance God Punishment Knights seemed to be made of yellow sand, and turned into ashes in an instant. The people who destroyed the underground city also suffered heavy losses. This destroyer demon god did not seem to regard the people who destroyed the underground city as his own people. More than a dozen people were crushed to death by this overwhelming destructive force. The powerful priests of the temple turned pale and flew backwards hundreds of meters before they stabilized their bodies. As powerful as they were almost injured. They really couldn't understand that this world had rules and did not allow the existence of power beyond the peak of demigods. Since they and the monster in front of them were both demigods, he couldn't figure out why there was such a big gap in strength. Yunfan took a deep breath. He had never thought that a person would be so powerful. There was a violent sound in the direction in front of him. From a distance, he saw that the sky was shaking, and countless space cracks bloomed, sweeping away all the surrounding super monsters and strong men. Didn't you say that everyone present was a demigod? Although the demon god of the destroyer clan had a godhood, he could only exert the strength of a demigod. But why was their gap so big? Yunfan couldn't help but ask Sakadin. Who is that? The great demon god of the destruction clan, even if he can only exert the power of a demigod, can also slaughter ordinary lower gods. His use of the power of destruction has reached the extreme. Sakadin responded with some disdain. If it weren't for the laws of this world, how much power can this great demon god exert? Yunfan asked with some curiosity. If it weren't for the existence of the laws of this world, even if he hasn't reached the realm of a higher god, ordinary higher gods may not be his opponents. Sakadin replied with great fear, so you'd better leave here now. No, I can't leave. Yunfan was really worried, even though he knew that staying here was useless, and he couldn't help at all. However, he couldn't get over the hurdle in his heart. He couldn't see the demon god of the destruction clan being suppressed with his own eyes. He felt uneasy and had no way to leave. Of course, he was not the kind of person who had no brains, and he would not act impulsively. This time he chose a farther place and watched from afar. What can you do if you stay here? There is no one in this world who can be a match for this guy. What do you think will happen if this guy escapes death? Yunfan asked. The destruction clan was born for destruction. As long as he escapes from here, he will definitely find ways to destroy the entire world. Otherwise, the gods would not have formed an alliance to fight against the destruction clan. Sakadin said with lingering fear, I advise you to find a way to leave this continent as soon as possible. Only by leaving here can you have a stable life. Second, Yunfan, I'm not a good person, but if you let me watch this continent destroyed, I really can't do it. Yunfan's heart tightened. The breath of destruction soared into the sky, and the demon god of the destruction clan was safe and sound. Many people seemed to have anticipated this result. At this moment, the breath of the demon god of the destruction clan was comparable to the ocean. The combined power of all people present was not as strong as it. At the source of the endless power of destruction, there was actually a colorful crystal, only as big as a fist, as bright and glittering as agate, with a strong colorful divine light lingering around it. The endless power was emitted by it, and it was far away from the demon god of the destruction clan. Other vicissitudes of life suddenly came from there, and it was trembling and beating like a life. That is the crystal of the world. At this moment, no one could get close. Every time this crystal of the world beat, the people around felt their blood spurting, as if they were facing the pressure of the whole event. Everyone felt a strong pressure, and many people had blood at the corners of their mouths, and could not support it. The power of the crystal of the world is beyond everyone's imagination. Just beating like this is unbearable. The crystal of the world is the core of the whole world. It turns out that he really exists. In the sky, everyone present was shocked and couldn't help but exclaimed. The crystal of the world seemed to have its own consciousness. It was using its own power to suppress the demon god of the destruction clan, as if it was unwilling to let this demon god be born. It's already this time. Do you still want to suppress me? Your master has long ceased to exist. You alone cannot suppress me. Just let me control you. The tone of the destroyer clan's demon god was hot. He knew that, as long as he had the world crystal, he could change the rules of this world and release its sealed power. He could even use it to destroy the entire world and make his own strength even stronger. The world crystal was beating vigorously and then suddenly soared into the sky, turning into a colorful divine light, rushing towards the destroyer clan's demon god, as if he wanted to kill him. However, the destroyer clan was not frightened at all, and even stretched out a hand to grab the world crystal. Stop it. Don't let this demon god get the world crystal. Otherwise, the entire continent will perish, and even the gods in the sky will fall. An old man in the temple shouted, with an anxious face. He didn't dare to imagine what would happen if the destroyer clan's demon god really got the world crystal. Stop it, at any cost. We must not let him succeed. All the strong men present shouted almost at the same time. That is the crystal of the world, the source of power of this world. If it is obtained by others at this moment, a roar was heard in the sky. Chapter 498. The war is coming. Even if they had stayed in the sky, the gods in the kingdom of God had not expected that things were developed to this point. They had not expected that there was a demon god who could destroy the clan, a great demon god who could kill them. The gods were already in a panic, and the kingdom of God once again sent out powerful believers, and even some of their subordinate gods. The war of gods began. At this time, the people who destroyed the dungeon also rushed out, turned into a green light, and blocked the front of the temple's divine punishment knights in the blink of an eye. My god, leave these people to us, sir. You can refine the crystal of the world with peace of mind. The war started again. Just when Yunfan felt dry mouth, suddenly a meteor fell from nowhere and hit him directly. Yunfan stretched out his hand. He felt like he touched something and then pinched it with 2 fingers. Suddenly he found a small crystal in his hand. The war was imminent, and no one noticed this little guy. This small crystal core was densely engraved with countless words, so small that it was almost invisible. Each ancient word was like a star shining brightly. Yunfan's heart suddenly beat faster, and he felt a little dry in the mouth. Yunfan's heart beat faster because of excitement. He suddenly thought of the crystal of the world. The fight between the temple and the great demon god of the destruction clan was entirely because of the crystal of the world. This crystal core was too extraordinary. It seemed to be condensed from the essence of the world, as if it was nurturing all things in the world, and it was heavy in the hand, many times heavier than metal. He had a feeling that the crystal of the world that everyone was fighting for in the sky seemed to be fake, and the one in his hand was real. Just this small crystal gives me a feeling of facing the whole world. Yunfan squinted his eyes and looked at the crystal in his hand carefully, but even if he used all his eyesight, He could only see a vague outline. The engraved words were too small. The crystal was full of incomprehensible handwriting, densely packed, and each word was like a star, blooming with the same brilliance, which was very dazzling in his eyes. Yunfan's heart was difficult to calm down. He couldn't help but look around. It didn't matter. He found that there was a person looking at him with a smile, and his eyes were full of playfulness. This person was the young man who introduced him here. If I guessed correctly, this was definitely done by this young man on purpose. What was the identity of this young man? What exactly did he want to do? The crystal of the world was what he wanted most. He didn't expect to get it like this. He had a sense of unreality. When he wanted to find the young man to ask clearly, the young man suddenly disappeared without a trace. He pinched the crystal core in his hand, which might be the crystal core of the crystal of the world. He hurriedly put the crystal core away carefully. It took him a long time to calm down. At this moment, he thought a lot, and the look he gave here seemed to have a deep meaning. If this was really the crystal of the world, what exactly did the young man want to do? If it wasn't for his deliberate arrangement, this thing would never have suddenly hit him. Everything was full of too many unknowns. Did he attack me on purpose? Yunfan thought of this possibility instantly. But why on earth? He shouldn't be so kind. How could he fulfill his wish for no reason? If we can completely control the world crystal, can we resolve this crisis? Thinking of the eyes of the Destruction Clan's demon god, who was very powerful, Yunfan's heart sank. If that monster knew that the world crystal he was fighting for was a fake, and the real world crystal was in his hands, the consequences would be disastrous. At that time, I'm afraid that not only the Destruction Clan's demon god would come to him, but also the members of the major temples and the god punishment knights would come to him. The matter of the crystal of the world must not be known to others. What is a phrase that is often heard on this earth? Don't waste time if you are not good at it. Although Yunfan didn't know how to operate it for a while, he immediately concentrated his mind and communicated with the crystal in his arms. Under his mental communication, a trace of colorful light in the crystal went up along his body and condensed on Yunfan's body. Before he knew what was going on, the crystal disappeared and his pupils were flashing with a little colorful light. After he absorbed the crystal into his sea of consciousness, he soon got feedback from the crystal. As expected, the crystal was the legendary crystal of the world. In his sea of consciousness, all the ancient characters engraved on it were like the bright moon fixed there, shining brightly, and the light was flowing. Although he had never encountered such characters, the meanings of most of the characters appeared in his mind, as if he already understood them, which made people feel magical. In just a moment, Yunfan felt that his mental power was consumed very seriously, and hurriedly stopped his research. Now his strength is still too weak. If he wants to completely control this world crystal, according to the news conveyed by the world crystal, he must reach the semi-god realm to control 70 to 80%. If he wants to completely control its power, he must reach the god realm. It is worth mentioning that the way to open the seal of this world is in this world crystal. With his current strength, he can break this seal, but Yunfan will not do it now. According to the news obtained from the world crystal, there are strong people at the level of gods in this world. Some gods choose to put their kingdoms into the void, and another part of the new gods choose to sleep. Once the seal is broken, those gods will wake up from sleep, and those gods in the void may also return. Blessings and disasters are unknown. This world crystal is really extraordinary. But now the most important thing is to find a way to solve the current predicament, and then Yunfan did not give up. He rested for a while, concentrated his mind again, communicated with the world crystal, and used all his mental power. What he communicated again was the text that he had not seen the first time. The second time he communicated with the crystal of the world, he was much better than the first time because of his experience from the last time, and he could easily understand the contents. However, when he recalled the contents, after reading it once, he only had a vague concept. Yunfan finally withdrew his mental power, and his heart was beating violently. Now he was almost certain that there was a way to deal with the indestructible clan. Chapter 499 Crystal of the World. With the help of this world crystal, even a demigod level peak strongman can solve it by himself. Yunfan looked around carefully. He knew that he must not let the news leak out, otherwise he would be killed without a burial place. I'm afraid that, even if someone in the underground city gets it, if they contribute it to the temple, they will also be protected by the temple. The world crystal can be called a priceless treasure, but it is also like an active volcano that can erupt at any time. There are great benefits in the crisis of destruction. Among them is a god punishment knight of the Temple Alliance, riding a Pegasus, rumbling, rolling through the sky, making the whole world tremble, and leaving quickly. After seeing what the other party did, the people from many forces present all changed color, and one by one they gave orders to the people around them. Hurry back, report this matter, and send strong men to help. Delay will cause changes. The underground world is no secret among many forces. The laser lake plane in the underground world is just a corner of the world. It is just a drop in the ocean in the underground world. If the news of the world crystal spreads, this plane will be flooded by endless professionals. The news of the birth of the world crystal cannot be concealed. It will shake the entire underground world and even the gods in the sky. Soon, more and more masters will come, and among them there will definitely be ancient beings on par with their temples. The temple will have to ask for help. This world is becoming less and less as simple as they imagined. Yunfan couldn't help but sigh. He once thought that the saint level was the pinnacle of this world, but now he finds that there are countless hidden masters in this world. How about you and I join forces to break the barrier and seize the world crystal first? After we get the world crystal, we can discuss how to distribute it. We must not let the devil of destruction get it anyway. Okay, that's the way it should be. The masters of the major temples nodded immediately after hearing this. Not long after, many masters came here through the teleportation array. The world crystal kept shaking, blooming with dazzling brilliance, making the world tremble. But the people present were not worthy of it. The priceless world crystal in their eyes turned out to be fake. It seems something is wrong. The masters present were watching from a distance, and many of them showed strange colors at this moment. Why does the world crystal give me such a vague feeling, as if it does not exist? Have you seen the world crystal? Do you know what it looks like? Maybe it was originally like this. Those divine texts seem to have life, all trembling, as if they are about to come out. But what is that fake world crystal? It doesn't look like an ordinary thing. The divine texts on the fake world crystal were all blooming brilliantly, like a dragon twisting. The world crystal was filled with a mysterious aura, and the powerful aura was slowly condensing, and the world crystal was covered with a layer of mist. No, it seems that something is wrong. There is something strange about this world crystal. The great demon god of the destruction clan showed a surprised look. He felt the mysterious power becoming stronger and stronger, and gradually surged up. Although that power was getting stronger and stronger, and was fighting against him, he instinctively felt that it was different, because he had been sealed by the world crystal for many years, and he had long been familiar with the aura of the world crystal. Because the seal was broken, he was excited at the beginning, and he didn't care too much about some things like side branches. Now that he thought about it, he had discovered some problems. The people of the Temple Alliance and the major forces of the temple also sensed this change. Their faces suddenly changed, and they shouted at everyone, "No, the situation has changed. Get out of here." Without them shouting, the people at the front knew that something was wrong. The people at the front suddenly disappeared, and it seemed that only bloodstains existed. Everything happened so quickly that they didn't understand what was going on. Even the Destroyer clan's demon god didn't know what was going on and vomited blood. The people who were closest to the Destroyer clan's demon god who were destroying the dungeon were instantly purified. I didn't expect this to be the light of purification. Sword god, you have been dead for so long, and you are still plotting against me. The Destroyer clan's demon god gnashed his teeth and roared. Everyone quickly retreated, trying to avoid the powerful oppressive force of the fake world crystal. Boom, the fake world crystal suddenly lit up with endless brilliance, and several people were illuminated by the so-called light of purification on the spot. Their bodies burned, and they struggled miserably, but it was useless. They turned into ashes in an instant. Damn it, what on earth is going on? Was it done by the great demon of the destruction clan? But it doesn't look like that. Everyone present was confused, wondering what happened here. Quickly retreat. The leaders gave the order to quickly retreat, not to leave, because they were still unwilling to give up on the world crystal. Several knights of divine punishment from the Temple Alliance narrowly avoided the light of evolution, and 4 or 5 people from the destroyer dungeon also rushed out. The people who were close to them were indeed purified again. There is the breath of the origin of fire there. Yunfan frowned. At this moment, the fake world crystal once again spun brightly, and the people who were closer to the world crystal could hardly move, and turned into ashes in an instant. All the deaths were completed in an instant, making everyone feel fear, especially the few people who had just avoided the light of purification. They were all terrified. If they were a step later, they would have ended up like that. How could this happen? What happened? Why is the crystal of the world so terrible all of a sudden? The heads of the major temples all had livid faces, which were very ugly. They haven't gotten many benefits yet, but they have already lost so many people. This is really not a good sign. They don't know how to explain to the gods. This is a backup plan set by the sword god. I'm afraid it was set up specifically to prevent the great demon god of the destruction clan from escaping. The strong men of the temple made such a judgment. Everyone thought about it and felt that it made sense. According to legend, the crystal of the world was set up to seal a great demon god of the destruction clan. The sword god had already thought of it. If the great demon god of the destruction clan broke the seal, then I would definitely want to get the world. It is very likely that this is the case. The sword god certainly does not want the great demon god of the destruction clan to get the crystal of the world. But what should we do now? Are we just going to give up like this? Chapter 500. The 4 generals reappear. Now we can only wait and see. According to common sense, it has been sealed for so many years, and the power of the world crystal should not be much. It will not be too late for us to take action when its purifying light completely disappears. It seems that this is the only way. I don't agree with your approach. By then, we will be powerless to save the situation. All kinds of weapons burst into brilliance and blasted towards the great demon god of the destruction clan, followed by a violent energy fluctuation. However, what was surprising was that the great demon god of the destruction clan was not damaged at all. The divine punishment knights and the masters of the temple launched several strong attacks, but all ended in failure, and they lost many masters. The words of the world crystal have strange and unpredictable power, and they bloomed with brilliant brilliance. It's over. That's the divine text from the ancient times. The master of the fire temple was pale and clenched his palms tightly. His knuckles were pinched white and said, if we wait any longer, once the great demon of the destruction clan refines the world crystal, everyone present will die. But we can't seize the world crystal at all. We can only wait for the strong men from other forces to arrive. I just don't know how many strong men will arrive by then. I'm afraid it will be even more difficult to get the world crystal by then. The strong men of the temple stood next to the divine punishment knight, and their faces were all very bad. The great demon of the destruction clan and the world crystal were so evil that they could only wait for the strong men to come to help. The Temple Alliance and the people of the temple joined forces, which was enough to suppress ordinary forces, but when facing the great demon of the destruction clan, they were also somewhat powerless. The text on the world crystal is changing. At this moment, everyone present was shocked. The mysterious text was changing rapidly, and every change seemed extremely mysterious. The fake world crystal shone with unprecedented light, spreading from the top of the crystal core, densely packed, mysterious, and mysterious auras slowly flowing. Yunfan didn't care about the situation outside. He was communicating with the real world crystal with all his heart, because he knew that once the great demon god of the destruction clan found out that the world crystal was fake, he might immediately attack other people. He was not sure that he could escape from the great demon god of the destruction clan. The space portal was constantly opened, and dozens of figures appeared in the sky one after another. Rumble. The clouds and mist rolled in the distance, and black light shone everywhere. A huge bone ship made of thousands of bones broke through the air and approached quickly. The people in the temple suddenly changed color. What they feared came, and other people from the destruction clan came to support. However, what frightened them was still to come. At this moment, a terrifying wave of shocking earth came from afar. The God Punishment Knight and the strong men of the temple suddenly changed color. This was definitely a terrifying figure of the highest level, otherwise there would be no such a grand show. Such a person actually came in person. Old third, long time no see. A deep voice suddenly sounded. Such a familiar breath. The great demon god of the destruction clan muttered to himself in some confusion. Can't you even recognize my voice? I'm really disappointed. Dozens of destruction auras rushed in first. Several white bone evil gods then rushed over and stopped in front of everyone. The white bone ship was full of evil spirits and murderous auras, which was very terrifying. A person in charge of the wind god temple saw this and couldn't help but frowned. It is said that in the dark ages of the continent, the 4 generals of the destruction clan liked to make such a pump the most. The strong man of the thunder god temple smiled bitterly and said, there is such a legend that the person in front of you is so pompous. Even if he is not that person, he is probably a ruthless character. Everyone present was awed in their hearts and did not dare to step forward rashly. They were all stunned by this mysterious person and didn't know who he was. People from various major forces were also discussing quietly, but no one could confirm the true identity of this person. After the bone evil god stopped, the big shots in the bone ship did not come out, as if they were quietly waiting for something. Old 4, I didn't expect you to break through the restriction earlier than me. Old 4. Everyone was shocked. The person who could be called the 4th by the demon god of the destruction clan who had been sealed for tens of millions of years should be a guy from their era. In this case, that person might really be the 4th general of the Immortal Legion, Lexus. Of course I can't compare to the 3rd brother. My real body is still sealed, and I'm just a fragment of my spirit at the moment. How about you help me protect the law, and after I conquer the crystal of the world, I will release your real body. The great demon god of the destruction clan promised. Why don't I conquer the crystal of the world? The great demon god of the destruction clan sneered. I didn't expect you to be so ambitious. Don't forget, you are just a wisp of spirit now. What's wrong with me being just a wisp? Under the suppression of the laws of this world, you and I are no different now. Very good. So many years have passed, and your personality hasn't changed at all. You are still so self-righteous. Suddenly, a monstrous aura of destruction surged like a vast ocean. Old third, I'll give you face. I'll call you brother, except that you are older than me. In terms of strength, how can you compare with me? The relationship between the 3rd and 4th generals of the destruction clan was not harmonious, which made everyone present breathe a sigh of relief. If the 3rd and 4th generals cooperated with each other, there would be no chance for everyone present to get the crystal of the world. Obviously, this was just a prelude, and more mysterious masters came one after another. The birth of the world crystal is of great significance. Those kingdoms of God far away will definitely send out demigods or even masters of God realm again when they hear the news. Sakadin said, but according to the laws of the land, even if a god descends to this world, he will be suppressed to the demigod realm, so those powerful gods who place their kingdoms in the void dare not descend easily. The underground world was shining brightly, and more people came to the laser lake plain, and people whispered from time to time. Even though they knew they couldn't get the world crystal, they still rushed here, wanting to witness a major event that shook the entire continent with their own eyes. Just when the situation was at a stalemate, the fake world crystal suddenly bloomed with brilliant light again, and then flew in one direction. Things are getting more and more troublesome. We must control some of the power of the real world crystal before they find out that the world crystal is fake. Otherwise, after seeing the world crystal fly away, everyone present became excited. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.